Right.
You're in the danger zone.
Totally, back row.
What is going on, fellas? Welcome to the Danger Zone. Okay, so I think Dane's got a little bit of lag going on. So welcome to the Danger Zone. This is a special edition of the Danger Zone. You have Dane, who just left and will be back shortly, and then I am co-hostess with the mostest, Murph. We will have this special episode tonight. Probably won't be a super long one, but we wanted to do a post-fantasy draft party, I guess you could call it, episode. It's always a party in the Danger Zone. Cheers. And we're going to bring some guys in. We're going to talk a little fantasy football. That's mostly what it's going to be. And just going to sit back, have a couple drinks, and it's going to be a good time. Welcome
Mic
back.
check.
Good. You sound great.
Christ, man.
Amateur
from
hour over here.
Dude, and I'm still operating at like 100% CPU. But Discord killed me. I'm still recovering. You said it, Murph. We're going to chop it up, fantasy related. We got some guests already for you. Why don't we bring them out so that I can kind of figure my shit out before you leave? We've had this guy on last year. Yeah, bring him out. Let's just do it, man. Without further ado, I'm just gonna bring him on out.
Check this out. A+. Yahoo loves me.
You know you're doomed, right? You're doomed now.
I know. It's always a crapshoot, man. I get C's and I have good years and I get A's and it sucks. So, yeah, that's life.
Who knows? Only time will tell.
How are you, boys?
Doing good. I was panicking about my draft, and then I remembered we have 14 teams in our league. So I'm like, okay, it's not as bad as I thought. Like these aren't as bad of reaches as I was thinking they were.
Yeah, no, I think everybody walked away feeling pretty good. You know, last year for me, my QB1 was Anthony Richardson, and my wide receiver 1 was Deontay Johnson. So I think you can't
shame on you.
You can't fall from the ground, man. So I mean, it's a better year now with I think I have Josh Allen, and my wide receiver 1 is JSN. So I'm riding with that, man.
Yes. Well, shame on you for last year. You should have known better.
I'm amazed I made the playoffs after that, to be honest with you, because I drafted like an absolute schlemiel. That was my worst draft in years. Terrible, but I had fun. And I'm having more fun now.
I feel like since we've started this, it's like I always just start off like the worst team in the league, and it's like midway through the season I start to catch fire, but it's just too late. You know what I mean?
No.
Like that's kind of where it goes for me. Yeah. So hey, that was a lot of fun. Always is, and I can't wait to hold the trophy after this year.
My goodness, yeah, we need one. You know, with winning 2 years ago, I was just remiss. I ended up having my wife had a kid and stuff like that. I wanted to get like a belt, and I was going to spend, a couple $100 on it and whatnot. It just didn't end up working out. So I'm actually surprised Dane hasn't taken the mantle now that he's Grand Poobah here. I don't know. Did you think about getting a belt, Dane, or no?
So, and sorry if I'm still a little laggy, still recovering here, but I splurged on this $10 crown.
Oh man!
And it was worth about $2, and I'm not even wearing it.
I thought about asking would everyone chip in like X amount of dollars so we could have like an actual belt or trophy, but I was just like, I just want to keep it at, I won't say what the buy-in was, but in this economy you want to keep it nice and easy and round numbers and just make sure everyone can afford it. It's not the Circle League.
Yeah. Yeah, and my other league that I run with a bunch of my friends around here and some family members too. I'm like, I should get a belt this year. I should get a belt this year. I keep telling myself, and I'm like, I don't really want to spend my own money to do it. And
Yeah, and now
I don't
everyone
know,
does it.
asking people for more money after they already bought in, it's always like,
But
you
is it a
know,
deterrent for you for like just the fact that everyone does it now? It used to be like 5 years ago, like nobody, like not too many people did it, so it was cool. And now it's like everybody does it.
yeah. See, I don't care what other people do. I just like what I like, and I want to be able to sling that bad boy over my shoulder and say, "That's right."
Hello, Richard.
Hi there. How are you?
What's going on, Snowball?
Oh, he's got the stogie. He got into the Arnold
Victory cigar after the
Well,
draft.
this is the yeah. I'm smoking it before we start, so I can feel like a champion
Yeah, till that first
beforehand.
week hits.
Exactly. First week, man, tough matchups.
Yeah, but Snowball, did you get an A+?
I did not. I did not get an A+, and that's where I like. I don't want to be at an A, and I don't want to be at a C. I like the B's.
Where did you go to find that?
And the only thing that screwed up my what's that?
Where did you go to find that grading? I forgot where you have to go to find it.
When you go in, you have to click on the league, like a recap. There's like a draft recap.
Draft? No.
If you go to the draft recap, it'll give you everyone's grade.
You should have got an email by now.
Oh, email. That's what it was. That's how I remember getting it before. Yep. Email.
Oh. It's on the map. It's on the yeah, but it's in the app too.
Yeah.
It shows you when you go to our league.
God forbid.
Can I chat on this thing? Because I'm seeing people's chats and I want to answer their stuff. I mean, I can say it out loud. Murph, I think you got Kyle Pitts, right?
I did as a backup. Yeah.
And hi, Hazel. I haven't seen you in a while.
She'd be around talking her ish. Boom's in here saying, "Damn you, top leaguers." Poor Boom. Poor Boom.
Snowball,
You'll be back with
the
big dogs.
How do you think you fared, my friend?
How do I think I fared?
Oh, okay.
Yeah. I think I did pretty well. Listen, I by taking Braylon Allen when I did, but that's okay. I think that's what screwed up my grade. But other than that, if I would have done something else, maybe I would have been in the A's. But
yeah, stick with your convictions, man. I applaud you. You know, you get one Brees ACL or knee tweak or whatever, and you got an RB1 on your hands. For a team that's probably going to run the ball more than any in the NFL.
Mm-hmm. That's what I figured.
C-minus.
I figured Brees will be split out catching passes anyway, so Braylon Allen's going to run. Run, Braylon, run. A-Train.
Yeah, that was an interesting pick, but if you think Brees is still on the descent and his drop off, then it makes sense, right? Because who else is going to get the carries?
I think he will receive more than run, I think.
Yeah. And then who's the goal line guy? If you think about it that way, like, could Brees be our David Montgomery? Or not Brees, Braylon. I mean,
Braylon.
Yeah.
Yep. I had two jet picks, so the defense and Braylon.
For Boomer, Rat Diddy picked Nick Chubb. Oh wow, A's from.
Did I get an A?
Lee Van's always spitting knowledge in here.
I'm like 30 minutes behind.
Well,
Did I
wait.
get
Do you
an
want
A?
Dan? Do you want me to read out everyone's grade?
If you could, that would help.
All right.
Yeah.
Let me just get into it on my app here. All right. So an A plus. Actually, there were two people who got A pluses, and there are two people in the room. Two people in this room right now, and it's the two people who have won the league. It's myself and yours. We both got A plus drafts. I don't know if that means that we're both born under an unlucky star now, but we got that. Password is Taco, who was our runner-up last year, I believe. He got an A minus. This is Carlos Gomez. He got a B plus. Snowball got a B minus. Rat Diddy got a B minus. Lee got a C. Murph got a C minus. So it's still a passing grade. Bonesy got a D plus because he was drafting in his car. Dre Correa who's the Jedi Knights, he's D plus. A lot of D's and F's. Eric A, who graduated into our league, he was a D plus. Nate got a D. All bets on Jets got a D. I forget. Oh, that's Mags, I think. And Purple Belt Mike, who had the number one pick, got an F. So he's projected to go 3-11.
Oof.
Good.
I'm projected 5-9, so I can't say much, but those projections are bullshit. They said my best pick was Kyle Pitts.
And you thought that was the Pitts.
My backup tight end pick. It's my best pick. Harsh on the.
It's because Bonesy didn't pick a tight end. That's why.
We did at the end.
He
Picked,
did at the end.
Jacksonville.
Oh, you did at the end?
Which I'm surprised Murph didn't get.
I don't think
because you got all the other Jaguars. You might as well have picked up that one too.
Yeah, I don't think he got Strange though.
I thought that was who he drafted.
I thought it was Johnny Smith, maybe. I don't know. I could be wrong. Let me look it up real quick.
This is probably really thrilling for anybody.
It was strange. It was strange. You're right. You're right. He didn't take a kicker or a defense though.
It's hard to win when you don't have those slots.
Especially when kickers are scoring 75 points a game as they're projected right now.
That's a good name, Adam. Is too cool.
On Kirkham's side, is Christian Kirk playing for Atlanta?
Kirk Cousins.
Oh, Kirk Cousins. God.
That is a great name. I saw that on the internet a week ago or so because I was just like curious. I love when people get creative with their names like that. That's a good one. I saw a lot of good ones.
The year we had Tebow was the very first year I did fantasy, and my team was named Jets for Jesus.
Oh no. The first year I did fantasy, Curtis Martin still played for the Jets. And I signed him up, of course. And that was the year he was like 31 or 30, and he went for like 1,500 rushing yards or some shit. Got the rushing title. Oh, yeah.
Can you guys hear my owls?
Who?
Pet owls or outside?
No, my outside owls. I've got like 5 owls out here.
Who?
Exactly. Now I have to. All these people in the chat are saying like who got who and who got who. Now I got to look up all these players.
Yeah,
it's my OCD. It's like now I want to know. Shoot. Egbuka.
Snowball.
Purple Belt Mike got Emeka Egbuka.
Oh, what do we got here?
Oh, we're doing the rounds.
Okay.
We're going to go round by round.
Nice. I damn near missed my pick. I was cutting it close. Jameer Gibbs at 1.
I think St. Brown was definitely higher than 11 as far as ADP goes. So I think you got a value there.
Yeah, I thought so too. Jahmyr Gibbs at 1. That's the first I've seen that in a draft. Everybody's usually going Chase or Bijan, maybe Saquon, but yeah, Puka. I don't know if I trust Puka to stay healthy. I feel like he's getting banged up a lot.
Did.
And then
And just the
Genty.
idea. Go ahead.
I was going to
Genty
say,
going in the first round, crazy.
yeah, Genty. He's a rookie, and I don't know that I trust that offensive line over there. You
I
know,
mean, is there any chance that the Raiders finish higher than 4th in that division? I don't know.
No, unless he breaks 5 tackles in the backfield and breaks one every game or a few. I don't know.
Because I mean, he picked what he sandwiched that with. He picked another Raider too. Who the hell was his second pick? Did he pick Bowers?
I think he did pick Bowers. Hold on. Yes. Yeah, he took Bowers.
Got it. Well, game script wise, you probably are seeing them play from behind more often, so they'll try to get the ball to their best weapons. So yeah, I mean, it could pay off.
Dude, if they trade away Jacoby Myers, that's all they're throwing to is their tight ends all year. Both
That's
of them.
true. Which is why I don't think they'll trade.
Yeah, I don't know. I guess we'll see how that works out. You never know, though. I mean, Pete Carroll knows what he's doing. He's coached for a long time, so he might have a plan.
He will run the ball. That is true, but he might he might do 2 running backs too. It might not just be Genty because he was he leaned on Walker, but Walker wasn't great as far as injury concerns were, and he got Charbonnet a lot of touches, and it ended up turning out last year too. Charbonnet looked like the more explosive guy, so let's see what happens with that. Who's their backup?
That's a really good question, actually. I don't.
This has become the research show. Okay, all right. Who's a depth chart?
I have a depth chart. What would you like to know?
You're very loud, my. Shoot. Okay. Raiders. Who's their backup running back?
Better.
Yes.
Yeah.
Raiders have Genty, Mostert, and then Zamir White.
All right. Raheem Mostert might get some play too. I don't even know if he was drafted in our league. Which is funny because either a year ago or 2 years ago, I think he might have been a borderline first or second round pick too, right? He had one insane year with Miami where he scored a zillion touchdowns.
Yeah. And we had guys, including myself, picking running back 3s on certain teams.
Yeah. Well, this especially this year with just how low, deep it ended up having to be with 14 teams, which, I mean, 2 years ago we did a 16-teamer, and that was rough because at the end you're picking guys who were the third down backs for the Tampa Bay Bucks when they sucked, and you're just hoping that you get 300 yards receiving and maybe 150 yards rushing for the year, and maybe a couple tutties, and that's it.
Yeah, did we do 16 teams that first year?
We did. And that was a fun draft.
That was crazy, man. That was crazy.
And we were talking about it in our draft that we just did, but that was the first year where Rodgers came, and we were all high on watching One Jets Drive and Hard Knocks, and it looked like the sky was the limit for our team. And then of course 4 snaps in killed us. But I remember we had one guy say, "Oh man, I'm going to draft because Garrett Wilson got drafted in the first round, and he's going to score 27 touchdowns. He's going to break the whatever the record was." And I was like, "Holy moly!"
I forgot who was saying that. Was that?
I think it was Dre Correa.
Dre. It was Dre, I think. Yeah.
And that was the year where I think Ricky, his first 3 draft picks were all Jets or something. He did he got I don't know if you can get below an F as far as Yahoo grades, but he obviously should have. And I don't know, he might have won 1 week all year. He was the bottom of the league.
Yeah, I think his like second or third round pick was like the Jets defense.
Defense.
Or something. It was wild. You never know though. I've seen guys. A few years back in one of my other leagues, I saw a guy like the first or second round took the Steelers defense, and they were scoring like 20 points every game. he ended up in the playoffs and almost won it all. I'm like, Jesus. So you never know.
Yeah, I'm in his league. He has like a league. It's a more shallow league. It's only like 8 teams, and they do IDL. And that's been fun because I've never won that kind of league, and I finished in second last year. So I want to win that particular league because it's a lot of studying. It's definitely more like cerebral, trying to figure out ultimately who's going to score points, for defense. And I feel like I always do well in the drafts because I get like this really stacked team. But it turns out like I just don't draft the right defensive players ever at all, even though I'm like getting like superstar defensive ends. I get like Bosa and I get like Hutchinson, and it still doesn't matter because someone did better scouting and they drafted some guy who just gets like 20 tackles a game or whatever it is, and I just get screwed. So
yeah, and that can stat pad it too. What we got going on?
Look at that. That's sexy right there. That is a good looking board. Love it.
I don't. I don't. Oh no.
So this means I don't even have to work the waiver wire, man. I'm just gonna win. I'm just gonna lose one time all year, and that's when I think like 3 of my guys are on bye weeks. Screw it.
Is it going to be same rules as last year with the money? On the
Yeah,
waiver?
I think it's $100.
Okay.
FAB.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Which, again, talking about Puka Nacua, that was Bonesy's big gambit that first year. He blew all his dough on one guy, but it turns out he got like a guy who was basically like an all-pro because he just, bet on something, and he thought he had a winner right there. That's what you got to do. Sometimes, in that first week, you just have a hunch and you play it, and the guy just knocked it out of the park. And I think everybody tried something like that the next year to like very little success.
Yeah. I think Bonesy was the one that snatched up Puka that year.
He did. Yeah, that's what I was saying.
Yeah. Damn.
I have a question for you guys.
Hopefully I have an answer.
So I asked you guys during the draft, I had the choice between Bo Nix and Baker Mayfield, which one to choose. Ultimately, I chose Nix, but I wasn't too confident with that. So later, I took JJ McCarthy. If I had to ask you now, which quarterback do you think I will start the most, Nix or McCarthy, throughout the course of the year? Who would you say and why?
I'd say JJ McCarthy because I think he has better weapons, and I don't think it's as daunting as the AFC West will be this year, and the AFC in general.
So I would lean towards like, okay, Kevin O'Connell, good offensive mind. He's going to have that offense cooking, But then you look on the other side, and it's like, well, Sean Payton, good offensive mind, probably going to have the offense cooking, and they have a good defense. Going to be a lot of opportunities for Knicks. I would say Knicks, but I would have taken Baker over Knicks.
I agree with Murph.
Because
I would Baker.
Pick.
I think Baker figured out something, and I don't know if it was necessarily dependent on Cohen either, Liam Cohen. I think he's got like the perfect situation down there.
Yeah.
Not making me feel better, guys.
You
Thank
wanted
you.
honestly, my friend.
No. You honestly, going into the draft, I'm like, Baker could get 5,000 yards this year, and then I'm like, you know what? That's stupid. No, he won't. Bo Nix, he was like the top quarterback after week. Scott Foster in my ear about Bo Nix got me thinking Nix.
You know what it is? Like you want
Those
like
ducks,
you want a quarterback who might be like on the second place team in a division, like fighting for that wild card where they're getting into a lot of shootouts. And like that was the one thing about Baker last year. Like even when they were even down by like 2 touchdowns or up by 2 touchdowns, he was slinging it. He was just they did not take the gas pedal off on that offense ever. They were in prime time enough where I got the chance to watch a lot of it. I was just like, there's no offense that's operating like Tampa's offense. They just go for it all the time. And aside from Philadelphia, but Philadelphia can control the ball with the run game. Not nearly. Tampa wasn't nearly as well versed in that, but they were throwing it everywhere.
I feel like Tampa is always one of those offenses that just throw a lot, man. Like if you look back at their history, and I know it's different coaches and things like that, but it seems consistent. Like Baker was slinging it last year before. Before that, even Winston, dude, was 5,000 yards and like granted he threw 30 picks, but he still had some stats there. And then even when they had the hell's the dude that played for like every team in the league, basically, Fitzpatrick.
Yeah,
he was throwing 5 touchdowns a game and shit. Like they just always throw the ball, man.
Well, the last time the Jets had an really above average offense, who was the head coach of the team?
Bowles.
Todd Bowles. Think about that.
I don't think it was because of Bowles, though.
But you know what I mean? It's like,
Yeah.
It seems to be at least some sort of, even if he's stumbling into it, there's some sort of correlation where, offenses aren't crappy under a Todd Bowles regime unless their personnel sucks beyond belief. But
yeah, and I like the idea of looking at like the receivers and stuff. Like you brought that up earlier with JJ McCarthy. Like, yeah, when you got elite receivers and a good offensive minded head coach or just a good OC, that makes a hell of a difference. I don't know. I really, if I haven't seen a quarterback play a snap in the NFL in the regular season, it's tough for me to buy in on it.
Well, let me ask you. I'll put a question to you, Dane. As far as supplemental, Denver has R.J. Harvey and J.K. Dobbins, and then for Minnesota they have Aaron Jones and I believe it's Jordan Mason. And Jordan Mason, I thought, was like the unsung hero of the early part of last year. Played for the 49ers. Who do you think has the better running attack to supplement that quarterback and to make it so that if they go play action, he's going to get a lot of yards, he's going to get a lot of receptions, get a lot of touchdowns potentially? I think there's a lot of potential in both offenses. So I don't know if there's even a wrong answer, but I wanted to see what you thought about the running back situation for either team.
That is an excellent question. Dobbins, I don't believe in as much as Mason. So, with that said, I would lean Minnesota there.
Yeah.
But Harvey is legit as well. When I took Hampton, I was thinking of Harvey the whole time, but ultimately Harbaugh really swayed me there. But Harvey's legit. The Denver defense though too, so it's tough. That's a very tough question. I would lean Minnesota though, just because Dobbins, he's got to fall off eventually, man. Like, and I do like Mason, young legs.
Another mark I would put for Minnesota too is that I take Hawkinson over. I guess they have Evan Ingram now, and Evan Ingram's had some good seasons, but he's not Hawkinson. So Hawkinson's the better tight end. They get a better receiving core. I think you can't compare Peyton's resume to O'Connell's resume, but O'Connell's it's not been a slouch. So great. But again, like I said, I don't think you have a problem there really. It's but McCarthy has probably it's a little bit a higher ceiling in my mind just because of the personnel.
I got to look at the offensive line. I feel like Minnesota has a better offensive line. Not by a lot, but I do think they do have a better offensive line. So that to me is what is going to set the edge. And I do like Mason over 3-time season-ending injury J.K. Dobbins. Like I'm gonna go Minnesota there.
Yeah, but Dobbins coming out of everybody was high on that guy. They thought he was going to be can't miss. It's a shame what happened. It happens to running backs. Shoot, what happened to Brees?
Agreed. Let me ask you this, and anyone, those two teams probably will have top 10 rushing attacks. Do you, as Murph's clacking away here,
My bad. I forgot to mute.
Do you think the Jets have a top 10 rushing attack? And if so, how high can it be?
I think by volume. I don't know necessarily about efficiency, just because everyone knows it's going to happen. They're going to stack boxes. They're going to dare Fields to throw. And you're probably going to get like what you saw in the first preseason game a little bit. He's going to try to look in the middle of the field. He might have one read, two read, and go for everything. He's not. And again, he might surprise the hell out of me, and we'll be there September 7th and watching the game at Pittsburgh, and it's like a virtuoso performance, and he's like totally simpatico with Engstrand, and it's all stuff that we didn't see because they were all practicing inside. In my mind, I have these dreams of like, oh man, they're just not showing anything, and Fields really gets this offense, and it's going to be deep bomb first play to Garrett Wilson, for a touchdown, post route right down the middle, and happy days are here again. But I would think so, just because if we're young and we're talented, and we're going to have the stamina to, potentially beat up on some teams. You're already hearing it from a lot of the pundits. They're going to say, watch the records of the teams that play the Jets the week after, and they're all probably going to be like, it's going to be a real like low sub 500 record, because they're just going to beat up on a lot of teams. If it's the way that Aaron Glenn teams play, the physicality, the discipline behind it, and it's the fact that they're going to be relentless, even if they're down by 3 touchdowns, they're still going to try to kick the crap out of you. I could see that being. That's a very long-winded and serpentine way to get to the point that, yes, I think he'll be a top 10. Maybe back in the top 10 as far as, and just because of volume, not necessarily because of efficiency.
If you would have said top half of the league, maybe I would have said yes. Top 10 is a stretch for me, though. I don't know. The only way they make the top 10 is if you're factoring in Fields rushing. If he has a really good ground year, Fields, then maybe. But I don't know if I see that. I think we have a good offensive line. I think we're a physical team, all that. But it's like you said, they're going to be stacking the boxes against us. They're going to want Fields to throw. They're going to want him to make mistakes. And I don't think that teams are going to allow it,
Yeah. When you phrase that, Dane, were you thinking holistically with, Fields adding to that, or is it just running backs?
I mean, whenever it's how they brand rushing offenses, and I don't agree with it at all, but it's in rushing yards per game, which counts quarterback, which counts. You could run 1,000 times. It's 150 yards per game. Doesn't matter how. Will get you top 5 in the league or whatever. You know what I mean? Like,
Sure.
So it isn't efficiency. Like we should evaluate them but it's volume, it's total numbers. With that said, Murph, does that change your answer? Because it's going to factor in Fields. Okay.
No, I'm just saying if Fields goes off, it could happen, but I still don't think it's going to happen. I think maybe top half of the league, 15 or something, but I'm not putting us in the top 10 yet, because you gotta prove that there's a threat of the pass, and there's Garrett Wilson and nobody else. I'm sorry, you know what I mean? Like they're going to double team Garrett Wilson and stack the box, and we're going to have a hell of a time.
We have Lazard.
Right.
All right, fellas. Good night.
To Nate specifically, yes, I'll talk trade anytime. If you want to come on and click on that link that Dane sent, you got a trade offer, hit me up, man.
Facts. Nate, good to see you, brother. Like I said, you moved up to the big boy league, and you're looking at rookie of the year, man, already.
But Nate, here's what you got to do. Like, in order to win this league, you have to grow that nice beard you have. You have to grow it really nice and thick, just like Dane, though, because every inch that Dane grows is like another potential year that he'll win the league. So he's going to be looking for again until the end of the decade right there with that little ZZ Top job he's got going on there. I went clean shaven.
Yeah. You know what? I said this is a Jets playoff beard, so.
Now, I saw the graphic at the front. Do you ever grow your hair long?
Ever? I do not. No.
Okay.
Yeah.
I was going to say, that seemed like something out of Brave or the Scots seed your lawn, seed it guy. That's what that reminded me of.
The Viking dunking the damn ball.
Exactly.
But I did mention that to Dane one time too. I was like, "Oh, I noticed he got the red hair and stuff." I was like, "Is that you? Once you get in the gym, and about 5 years down the road, you're going to grow your hair out and start dunking?"
I don't know if you guys saw this, but it looks like I got an A+ for my draft.
You did. You absolutely did.
Just
Y'all
kidding,
who knows
guys.
what I'm talking about clearly.
Yeah, that honestly, I'm shocked because normally I don't get a good grade there. But enough about me. Nate says he doesn't know half the people in our league, so it's gonna be fun.
He's going to learn, though. He's going to take those L's from those people he don't know. Exactly.
Yeah, there's not 5 women and 3 auto picks.
Oh, come now. Wasn't that bad?
I'm just kidding.
Hey,
But
some of those auto pick drafts do well though. I've seen them do really well before.
on the subject of Nate, what do you guys think of his strategy? He took Genty, which is a great pick at like 10th overall or 11th. Good pick. I would have taken him even a hair sooner. But then he follows it up with Bowers, double dipping. And I don't know if he realized it. He probably did, but double dipping on the Raiders.
Mm-hmm.
Thoughts on that for him specifically, but then thoughts on that for the strategy as a whole.
Well, he was like our RB0 guy, right? Because I think the next pick he had was Marvin Harrison Jr., so he did wide receiver again. I just remember his first 3 picks. I mean, there's a lot of upside with some of those plays, right? I mean, you're potentially looking at certainly tight end 1 based off of last year. But you're also switching quarterbacks too. And even though they had crappy quarterbacks last year and Geno coming in, in theory is a big upgrade, stranger things have happened. I mean, Joe Flacco unlocked David Njoku in Cleveland. Go figure. Deshaun Watson really couldn't do that. So sometimes, styles make fights, or styles make. Lee Van would know exactly what the exact saying would be, but sometimes styles make fights, or styles make good teammates and good hookups. So you just don't know. But I don't know if Bowers is matchup proof. But last year you couldn't have asked for a better rookie season. So we'll see what happens.
Let me ask you a question before I answer. Would you take Jacksonville's offense or the Raiders' offense, head to head?
It all depends. It's interesting because everyone says the reason why Jacksonville kind of fell off a cliff. I mean, their defense was abysmal, but Lawrence, like the secret, like the worst kept secret is that Lawrence is just never healthy, and he tries to play through all of it. So if Lawrence is right, I would probably say they have a higher ceiling but a much lower floor. But again, not being a real expert on offenses in one in the AFC South and one in the AFC West, but I'm just going by what I see personnel, and they have a better head coach than Pete Carroll. I'm sorry. I mean, Liam Cohen was a very good coordinator. I think he's a good offensive mind, but he's got to take care of the entire team now, not just concentrate on offense. We've seen what happens with OCs that try to take over the team, and coming from South Florida with Mr. Gase being a prime example, and not doing so hot.
I've seen that with defenses too. Dane, Jacksonville or Raiders offense? Which one's better?
I would. Oh, that's tough because so much. I mean, are you talking about the 2024 Raiders, or are you talking about the 2025 Raiders?
This season, Dane, who's going to be better? Just
all right.
Which one?
Better in which way? No.
Just always. Just total offense. Who's better?
The Raiders.
Get out of here. You hate me is what it is.
I don't believe.
All right.
I don't.
What was the right answer, Murph?
It was fucking Jacksonville, okay?
Yeah, because he drafted Travis Etienne Jr.
Oh man. Anyway,
you know what? Hey, hold on. Let me answer for real.
Okay.
I don't trust the Jaguars running backs. I do think Lawrence has a better year. I like him with Travis Hunter. However,
Brian Thomas Jr.
Brian, yeah, that's a good passing game, but I still think that Bowers and Genty with Gino, Jacoby Myers, uh, I like it. I like it, man. Bowers, dude, he started his first half of the year, he had 1,000,000 targets and his average depth of target was like 4 yards half of the season. He was just getting dink, 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 dunk. But that second half of the year, man, he really, really blossomed. He was beating guys deep, good routes, good catches. Now, if they trade Myers, that would sway my opinion because there's not much else in the well. Uh, but dude, I would rather go with Gino doing it again than Lawrence doing it for the first time.
I mean, I wouldn't say it's the first time for Lawrence, but he's kind of dropped off a little bit. But you could argue injuries, whatever. There's a lot of factors that go into it. Anyway, that was a side tangent. I'm going to say that going two Raiders back to back, like having a rookie and Genty whenever their offensive line looks pretty suspect, I don't know about that. I think Bowers is a safe pick, though. I think that he's a probably top 3, top 4 tight end. He's going to be perennially like a top 3, top 4 tight end every year, I think. So I think that was a safe pick. I like, as far as Nate's draft, I like some of the deep cuts that he had a little later on and stuff. A lot of the early stuff I was like, about, but there's a few players that he got later on that I'm like,
Tell us, what were they?
Well, I was eyeing Jaden Higgins for one. That was one of them. Let me find. I did like the Marvin Harrison Jr. pick. That wasn't late, but that was another.
That was third round.
Yeah, I know, but still, that was one that I did like. Evan Ingram is on his bench as a backup to Bowers. He may have Evan Ingram in his flex spot, for a good chunk of this season because the guy, he performs, at least stats wise. He may not block for shit, but yeah, and Alec Pierce, you never know. That dude could go off for 20 points any given game because he's done it before. So there's a few deep cuts of his I liked. But.
Well, I liked it. So if you weren't at the draft in the 9th round, pick 125, Nate also took Jerome Ford, which if you consider it, like Judkins just signed. Who knows with the legal shit? It sounds like he's in the clear, but he also just signed. Hasn't done shit. He hasn't read the playbook. A wink. That makes Ford RB1 the first month and a half, if you ask me. Good, solid insurance policy for Nate. I thought his last pick was a little gay, but aside from that, yeah, he took Matt Gay. Don't cancel me. But aside from that, solid team. The only thing I have questions about Dak, but he's Dak with Lamb and Pickens might be better than Dak, a year younger with just Lamb.
Yeah, for Lee's question, there weren't like a lot of like crazy picks. I think that we all came in with a pretty darn good strategy, and we had some good back half of the draft. I think guys did their homework, and we really all walked away with what we think are going to be some gems here. But in Wayne we trust is probably right. I mean, the biggest reach was Braylon Allen, but you can see the thought process behind it with Snowball. It's just the idea is like if they trade Breece Hall or game script wise, it's like we're up by a touchdown or up by low 2 scores. We're going to ram the ball down their throat, and it's going to be Braylon Allen that's going to be the battering ram. So and he probably could, especially in the red zone, he probably could pick up a lot more touchdowns than he did last year, with a better offensive line. See, the problem was we're so ass backwards last year. We had the personnel to be a much better running team, and just with the way that Rodgers and started with Hackett and then with Downing, they just sort of ran like this really weird offense where the pass was just option 1, 2, and 3 pretty much all the time. That's so the idea is like we were almost like 31st or 32nd in a lot of those key rushing territories, and there's actually people predicting that we might literally go from worst to first. As far as rushing goes, especially in the red zone. So we'll see. I don't, nothing that anyone did, it was like, oh man, that really was like, because, again, back half of the draft, there's a lot of dart throws.
Yeah, there wasn't anything too crazy. Braylon Allen is the one that sticks out to me, but even like you said, there's thought, there's a process behind that. On the flip side, what did you guys think as far as like what was like the sneakiest pick like that was later in the draft that you liked a lot that you saw somebody take or maybe you did take?
I don't hate picking Keaton Mitchell right at the end because I have a sneaky feeling like, God forbid Derrick Henry gets injured. You're talking about the number one rushing offense in the league last year, and Keaton Mitchell is their most explosive back, in my opinion, of like all around. Besides Henry. I mean, Henry's going to be he's a Hall of Famer. He's an alien, but Keaton Mitchell really has a lot of potential there, and he's going to be this the idea that he was draftable even in a 14-team draft right at the end. I thought that was I looked at that. I was like, I'll scap him up.
For me, like surprise or good pick, good value pick at least. Round 12, I think it was Lee Van. He took Elijah Arroyo right before I was going to. Good pick, tight end one. Tight end one in round 12 for Darnold. He might not be one off the bat. But by the year's end, he will be. Good pick by Lee.
I don't know about Elijah Arroyo, man. Just in reading up into the draft, it's just like it seemed like Jason Morrow 2.0, and I just got really spooked by it. I was hoping the Jets didn't draft him, but I'm glad they didn't. Just been burned too many times rooting for this franchise,
There's a name for you, Jason Morrow. Oh, bleh. What about you, Murph? Did you have like a high late pick that really sparked you?
I don't know. Like there was like I I liked my pick of Ollie Gordon as late as I got him, like at the end of the 13th round, but I don't want to talk about my own shit. And I know that's still like banking on injuries and stuff, but Arroyo was a good one. I thought getting Pittman was it like the 9th round. I think you got Pittman. I thought that was a good pick. It's not necessarily like a sleeper, but like, hey, like the dude, he's talented,
Still wide receiver one on their team.
Exactly. Getting a wide receiver one in like round towards the end of 8 or beginning of 9th round, that's pretty good to me. Of course, I like the Jaden Higgins pick. That was round, let me look here, 12. Round 12 for Jaden Higgins. That was a good one, too. Yeah, I don't know. There's a few.
You know what? Whoever got, I think it was Purple Belt Mike, and of course he got an F in the draft grade. But I thought it was savvy to get because he was number one on a lot of boards. Jake Bates. I know it's a kicker, but it was like him and Aubrey were like neck and neck. It's like 1 and 1A as far as coming in. I just see Aubrey kick, and I'm like, he makes every kick beyond 50 yards. And like the guy is like money like from 60 all the time. So I grabbed him a little early, maybe a round earlier than I wanted to, but you zoned in. And that was my strategy too. It was like, okay, and maybe I don't know if that led to the A+, but just the idea is like, okay, I ID guys that I want to have. I want to have Denver's defense, and I want to have Brandon Aubrey. And if I got to go around early, do it. Especially in a deeper draft. So,
hey, that's paid off. That's paid off for you in the past, especially with kickers and shit.
I just got lucky with Jake Elliott on Christmas. That was it. He made 7 field goals against the Giants.
Jake Asman, welcome to the stream, brother.
Speaking of kickers, I'm shocked that nobody took. I'm shocked nobody took Little after the 70-yarder in the preseason. I thought somebody would take him for sure.
Oh, who made that kick?
Little. What the hell's his first name? Cam Little.
Cam Little.
Hey, that's worth 7 nowadays too.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think Rat Diddy also just think about kickers too. We got Chris Boswell, and you just look up and you don't even realize like Chris Boswell every year is top 5, like every single year, and he's been around basically since like the Bush administration. He feels like he's been here forever.
Let me ask you guys something, because it's kind of a first, at least the last 6, 7 years. Travis Kelsey went 98th overall.
Oof.
Thoughts there? Last
That's-
pick of the 7th round.
That's what happens when the last 2 years combined, he's had only 8 touchdowns when he's been picked. Probably ADP, top 30 still, maybe top 40.
Yeah, there was no chance in hell I was touching him at any point of the draft. I knew if I'd have drafted him, I'd have been tempted to start him, and he would have probably just disappointed me.
Well, on the flip side, who have been tight ends? I mean, even on that same team, Tony Gonzalez. I'm not saying it's apples to apples, but Tony Gonzalez maintained his career into his mid to late 30s. I mean, the guy could be a unicorn, but maybe there's something in the water there in Missouri. But I think of that, and Jimmy Graham fell off. I'm trying to think of tight ends who are really good in their mid 30s. Not a ton come to mind. Just Tony Gonzalez.
Sharp,
Yeah,
but that's way back.
yeah. I mean, Antonio Gates. Gates would be another one. But again, we're talking like freak athlete, unicorn, like former basketball players. That wasn't necessarily Kelsey. That isn't necessarily Kelsey.
True. Yeah, it might be. I mean, that might be overdrafting him this year. I don't know.
Yeah, maybe. I mean, you're taking a flyer on him at 98. I think you said isn't that crazy? Like if you would have drafted him like 48, that'd have been a little worrisome at that point.
But what was his ADP this year, even, Dane? You know what I mean? It couldn't have been that high. I mean, when he went, I wasn't surprised. It was like right in the realm where I thought he would go. Nate, I would take Angry.
Yeah, it was about.
I got an idea for you guys. What was one guy who you drafted last year that you fell in love with, but you couldn't get him this year for whatever reason? We'll call it the one that got away. I mean, Dan, you could pick from like 5 guys. So this is not hard for you, but maybe more of a challenging question for Murph.
I'm all right. First guy that comes to mind, I'm sure I'm going to think of somebody that I maybe fits that bill a little better. But I kind of, after last season, I kind of liked what Chase Brown did. Not being able to get to him kind of rubbed me wrong a little bit. Not that he was like it wasn't my top back or anything on my board or anything, but that was somebody that I was hoping, maybe in second, third round I could snatch up, and
he went middle of the first.
Yeah, he wasn't available in the second, so I was hoping, maybe in the second I could have got him, but no chance for him. And I think that he was rock solid last year.
Yeah, I'm gonna go down that same path because I was just thinking about it, and he burned me so much, and I hated him. I hated him so much. By the time November and December rolled around, it was just like, get him off my team. I was starting Mark Andrews instead of him. But I just feel in my head, it's like if I got Sam Laporta one more time, if I went to that well one more time, he would have had the season he had 2 years ago this year. It's just sometimes they just fall off for whatever reason. But it made no sense, right? It was just, he had the same coordinator. It was, in theory, a better offense. They were going to be, really great matchups. And, now he's going from Ben Johnson to John Morton. Again, John Morton was an OC for us about 8 years ago, lasted 1 year, was very middling, and he's going to be their OC, which sort of worries me about Engstrand, too, because they passed over Engstrand to pick John Morton in Detroit. I don't know what that means or what that, portends for us. But, I think about that. It's just like, maybe he was hurt, too. Yeah, that's just the rumor you hear. It's like he had hamstring issues, whatever, with Laporta. But, man, it's just like this will be the year. Watch, like and the tight end guy was Njoku, and I think when he's healthy, he's really good. He's definitely a higher floor for me. But if I had Laporta one more time, like could I get redemption?
You know what?
I wish I knew how to quit you.
A guy you might consider, and maybe I shouldn't even say this, but a guy you might consider maybe on the waivers or later down the line is Harold Fannin Jr.
Oh yeah,
Who
he went to Cleveland,
yeah,
right?
he did, and
Oh, handcuff time.
one of them two are gonna pop, man. So heads up there. If I had to throw out a guy that I couldn't get again, dude, it's gonna be by far and away Mike Evans, man. Uh, he's getting older though, and it was just finally time to just say, all right, someone else can overdraft him because eventually he's gonna fall off. But hey, I avoided Baker, and maybe the same reason. Both of those might nip me in the bud this year. The
The
other
thing
one
about
though, last yeah,
sorry, just think about Mike Evans though. You don't have to spend like a first or second round pick on him, and you can just set him in your lineup, and he's gonna get 100 yards and a touchdown like every week. Like, what's better than that?
true. True. He is a matchup nightmare. My wide receiver 3 last year, so that was perfect. Um, but last year I also got Bowers at 91, and I just knew that I wasn't going to get him again. And I thought, hey, so I picked second, and I would have picked again at 27. Yeah, I
Yeah,
knew he wasn't going to be there. If he was, though, that was the pick for me.
I mean, I'm mildly shocked he didn't go in the first round. I would have thought, it would have been very trendy to try to, jump everyone else. There's always some person who's going to try to outthink everyone else. Usually it's a quarterback, but this year could have been a tight end.
I got a buddy in another league, a buddy of mine. It's been like 3 years now in a row. He's taken both Mike Evans and Montgomery.
Mhm.
And like last year, I was giving them shit. I'm like, oh, those guys are gonna fall off. Like they're getting older. Like you know what I mean. And they've just been rock solid every time he's taken them. Like, I mean, they're not like superstars. Like, but they're just rock solid every year. And I'm like, you know what? Like he might be onto something.
And that's why when we circle it back to Kelsey, it's not necessarily the worst thing in the world. Think of the early part of the year where they don't have Rasheed Rice, and again, that's such a weird offense. It's like you never know exactly who the primary weapon is anymore. They used to have Tyreek, and that was easy, and then Kelsey was in his prime, but now it's like, is it Hollywood Brown? Is it Xavier Worthy? Is it going to be Pacheco more? And Pacheco was hurt last year. I think that really kind of derailed them because 2 years ago, Pacheco really was their X factor, and now it's I don't know how they made the Super Bowl with that offense last year. It was very odd. I know they had DeAndre at the end, but DeAndre looked not that he looked cooked. He just didn't look like he ever settled in really with that team. And Worthy was okay in the Super Bowl, but it was garbage time as well. So yeah, it's a very interesting offense that they're going to try to run. They do spread it around. I always like Noah Gray. I always think Noah Gray is good, but he's just not a good fantasy player. He just is that guy that will always score a touchdown or have a big catch or 2 or 3 big catches in a game, and you're just like, that guy's great.
Yeah. And that like my last pick of the draft, because you mentioned how like you never know with them and their receivers and stuff like that. My last pick of the draft was Jalen Royals because
Yeah,
why not? Why not? I like the kid. I think he's got potential. So if he takes off, he might be the one.
I think there's a lot of people bitching and moaning about the idea that the Jets took Arian Smith over Jalen Royals when Jalen Royals was still on the board. So,
All right, Dane, I'm going to have to cut it, man.
You got it, brother.
I got to get a shower and go to bed. Be up at 4.
Murph, you hung on longer than I thought you would. You said 10. We're at 10:38, so you did.
You get to talking ball with the boys. That's what happens every time. Dane does it to me every Friday night. I'm like, Dane, I'm only good for like 2 hours. I tell Dane, I'm like, I'm only good for 2 hours tonight. And next thing I know, it's like 1 a.m. We're 5 hours deep into a stream. I'm like, what the hell's going on?
Talking about the meaning of life.
Yeah, God knows.
Murph, all right, appreciate you, bro, because I needed you that first hour. Appreciate you. Have a good night, man.
Yep. Good night, fellas. Good luck with your drafts, everybody.
Salud, Murph. All right, who are we bringing on, Dane?
Dude, anyone who wants to talk ball, we had Yeti in here earlier. He dipped though. I didn't put him on right away because he wasn't in the draft. But if he's still around now, perfect time to jump in on the conversation. We still got some drafters in the chat. Let me ask you though, like now that it's
Sure.
1-on-1, your team, what could be your undoing, and conversely, what will win you the chip this year?
I'm not necessarily wild about my receiving core. I like Jaden Reed as a player. I think he's very boomer bust, but when he booms, he's really good. It's so weird how they utilize their wide receivers in Green Bay, which is why, like, you know, I look at a Matthew Golden and I'm like, that could be a really good situation. But again, like, what are they really going to be doing? And also, how healthy really is Jordan Love? I know it's a non-throwing hand injury, but you know, he really tried to be a superhero last year, and he played through something that he probably shouldn't have, and everything just fell out of whack there. So you don't know. I mean, again, I saw it, but I look at it as like Jaden Reed is such an X factor with the way that they design runs for him too, and he can catch the ball. It's just like there's going to be some weeks where it's going to be maddening, where he might have like no targets or 2 targets and not catch anything. So you know, he's a bench player right now. I love JSN. JSN would have been, if someone had drafted him, he would have been the one who got away, because I drafted him late last year, held on to him. I kind of knew that, you know, if he got his opportunity, and kind of Lockett turned into a potato at the end of the year last year. So he ended up being wide receiver 2 under Metcalf. And he outplayed Metcalf the second half of the year. And he's got that pedigree, and I always thought he was a better prospect even than the other Ohio State guys. Speaking of which, I have Olave, and again, that's sort of, again, there's a little bit too much, you know, boom or bust potential with my wide receivers, but where I drafted them, where they landed, it's just like, I'd rather take the upside, and I'll fill in the blanks with the way I work the waiver wire, and you know, I'll be okay. And I'm very happy with my quarterback and my running backs.
Yeah,
Tight
dude,
end, not so much, but I mean, it's David Njoku, and again, if he's healthy, he's going to perform well. He's going to be top half of the league tight end.
yeah, and the Deshaun Watson experiment isn't gonna bleed into that passing game this year. I'm
Nope.
kind of curious to see how that offense runs with like one solid plan. Now, will there be a second plan later in the year? Maybe, but it's still not going to be Deshaun Watson. So, yeah, dude, the first half of your lineup and the back half looks great. That middle will be key as we see it here on screen. And then you got a bench that could fill in for you if you need. But yeah, a
Yeah, I
lot of
mean,
Buckeyes. A lot of Buckeyes.
yeah, you know, I don't discriminate. I'm actually, I'm a Notre Dame guy, so they're independent, so I don't feel like any sort of animus or fealty to any conference whatsoever. But, you know, yeah, I didn't even realize it, but yeah, but I think about that 2022 draft where we like struck it gold, and I'll probably end up feeling, you know, warm feelings towards guys who were drafted there. There was a lot of players that really turned out quite well. Olave with his injuries has been crappy, but other than that, you know, when he's been on the field, he's performed just as well as Wilson, if not better. So, you know, we'll see.
I like it. I like it.
And I
still
really,
cooking.
I drafted Josh Allen just so the idea is like, okay, if he's great, fine, whatever, I'll deal with it, and he'll win me a fantasy title. But if he sucks, it means he had a bad year, and maybe the Jets will do better. So my little reverse psychology on that one, and just drafting to it too. Just the idea is like, filling in for a week, he'll be fine.
Dude, Josh Allen though, like, what does he have? Like, he was QB1 like 2 out of the last 3 years in points, so not a bad pick.
No, it
Not
was
a bad
just
pick.
and again, last year, for context, I was at the turn, and I realized I waited on quarterback, and there was just like a run the round before, and I got stuck with Anthony Richardson, and I talked myself into it, and he had a decent first week. And by the grace of God, I picked up Baker Mayfield off the waiver wire, just knowing, like, you know, maybe I just should have some insurance. And thank God I did, because Anthony Richardson was probably the worst pick I've made in 5 years. And he was like round 5 or round 6, and even that's still the worst pick I've ever made.
Hey, that rushing though is no joke. Yeah, I'm hoping that I can snag some lightning in a bottle with Knicks in the rushing this year. But hopefully he can pass it a little better than AR, the plastic 3D printed AR, I should say. But yeah,
It's just it's weird. Like, even though they had a good year last year, you still kind of don't know exactly where Denver's going to settle as far as what their offense is going to be. They could be a fantastic rushing team. Their receivers are their receivers aren't like, they're not going to knock your socks off. I mean, Cortland Sutton is a really good player, but he's a B. Like, they had Jerry. I feel like they've had like Cortland Sutton, Jerry Judy. They've all like these B wide receivers, and Tim Patrick they had for a while. Never really had a really, since the days of Demaryius Thomas. I don't think they've had a great receiver, like a really great receiver.
agreed. The last one I remember, yeah, Demaryius Thomas. Before that, though, man, I love me some Ed McCaffrey, baby.
I got his son.
Yeah. So, hey, I already referenced Shannon Sharp. Now I'm talking Ed McCaffrey. I need to come forward a little bit in time, I think.
There you go. Hey, listen, you're an old soul. You're still a young man, but you're an old soul.
Facts. Thoughts on, okay, first overall pick. I was second, and this blew me away because, I mean, it didn't, because I had this guy last year, but would you have passed on the Triple Crown winner in Jamar Chase and took a running back, but not just a running back, not Bijan, not Saquon, jump straight to Gibbs? Thoughts on Purple Belt Mike doing that?
I don't know if a Yahoo is fair in giving him an F. I wouldn't have done that, but I don't think he's going to rue that pick. You just don't know. Again, I look at that coordinator and I just know his track record with it being, John Morton. And I'm not saying that he's like a total ham and egger, but when he was the OC of the Jets, they just never really got a ton out of our guys. I think it was 2017, was that a Josh McCown year? I mean, they were fine, but it wasn't like they never lit up any scoreboards or anything like that. So maybe that's unfair. Maybe, in the last 8 years, he's blossomed into the heir apparent to Ben Johnson again. But, he's almost like the Steve Wilkes of offensive coordinators. Like, he doesn't spend a lot of time in one place a lot. He hops around here and there. So I don't know exactly. I mean, again, and with the Detroit Lions, one thing you got to understand that they lost Ragnow. He retired. I think that, they still have Sewell, but, it's not as good of an offensive line as it has been in past years too. So don't necessarily think that it's just going to be turnkey here and he's going to be off to the races and he'll still be probably their best weapon week to week, but it's not going to be probably as easy. And then David Montgomery also is a year older too. I mean, I think he's on the wrong side of 30 now, so you never know. It's not that I wouldn't draft a Detroit player, but I always had in the back of my mind is like, expect some regression just because their offensive coordinator. I mean, the last 3 years they've been top 5 in pretty much every category and everything. I mean, it's not a fluke that and that brain power left for another team in the division. So, it's going to be a transition year because I don't think the Bears will lift all the way up to be like a Ben Johnson awesome offense in that first year. But it's not far off if he's worth it.
No, and Gibbs. I mean, once Montgomery went down, Gibbs was phenomenal. And the big question before that was, can he handle the full load? Well, he proved late last year that he can. So does that change their split this year? That's going to be one to watch.
And think about that too, in terms of, at Alabama, he wasn't even charged with being that too. I think he shared that backfield with Brian Robinson. Or am I wrong on that one? But he wasn't like their number one back.
Yeah, he showed for sure that, he can not just run outside like Brees and, catch gadget plays. He can also run up the middle. Hey,
Yeah.
hell of a player. One of the funnest running backs to watch in the league.
I have a question.
Yeah, Good.
No. If you don't want to transition off, it was a league based question. So with our leagues now being 14 team, one of the thought processes behind it was the idea that we could change our playoff system a little bit, and the idea being that we can match it to what the NFL does. So it puts a real onus on being the number one team because that's the one that's going to get the bye. I can't hear you. Oh, hey, buddy, how you doing? Who's your friend?
This is Bailey, and she
Hi,
loves being on
Bailey.
camera.
Hello, you. You're very pretty.
Carry on though. Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you.
Yeah, no sweat. I was just going to say, I like the fact that going to 14 teams and then also now half the teams are still going to make the playoffs, but it's that 7 team where the very, very top seed gets, or no divisions anymore. It's the very, very top team gets the bye and nobody else. What did you think about that? And, is it because the first year that we did this again, we had the 16-team league and it was 1 through 8 and there were no buys, and the guy who finished first overall in the league regular season lost in the first round nationally. So I wanted to get away from that. And last year was the old NFL system where we had 2 teams get a bye and it was 6 playoff teams in a 12-team league. And it was more traditional. But now I wanted to match the NFL, just being the commissioner here. So I'm thinking that's going to be fun for everyone. What do you think about that?
I like it because, I don't know, too many buys is not the best thing. I like that you get a reward for winning the regular season. You get the bye week. You get the advantage because you get to play the weakest team after that. That's all well and good. The second seed is playing what, the 8th seed, or I'm sorry, they're playing the 7 seed.
Yeah.
If you can't win that game, that's on you, bro.
I agree.
But yeah, I mean, it's a good format. The only thing, yeah, I don't know. I've had buys and then my players blow up during that week and then they fizzle the next week. You never know. But even if I didn't have a buy and they fizzled, or they were hot and then fizzled, I still would have made it just as far. So at the same time, regular season is nice and all, but you just got to play well enough to make the dance, just like the NFL. And then you got to be hot then. And hey, a lot of people factor that into their drafts. Strength of schedule, but also strength of schedule in December.
Yeah.
And if you plan like that, buy or not, you'll be good. Assuming everything stays healthy and whatnot. But no, what I'm trying to say is 14 teams, 5 or 6 making it might be too rigid.
Yeah.
Seven's cool because then you got to win 3 games in a row to win it all after that.
Yeah.
That once you get to more getting into the playoffs, then you got to end the regular season a week earlier, and it's like everybody else gets 12 weeks of action. So seems like a good format to me.
One thing, I'll go back through the records. I don't think we've ever had a sub 500. We've had 500 teams make the playoffs in our leagues, but I don't think we've ever had a sub 500 team make the playoffs. That's what, when I see that, it's that kind of pisses me off when you expanded so much that you get everyone, it's a participation trophy at that point.
And hey, us being our ages are not a fan of that participation. I know I'm not, at least. But also, hey, if you get 1,000,000 points allowed, hey, it happens. Just you have to kind of just take it in stride. Don't get all pissy and boo-hooing. You got to play the schedule you're given, and in 14 team leagues, you're going to play everybody once, which is cool. I saw that you made that happen. That's awesome. Whoever you play week 1, you will play twice, but everybody else you'll play just once. So everybody you play once except one team. That's as fair as you can make it, in my opinion.
And everyone, as far as I could have put it to a vote to the league. We could have started the playoffs maybe a week earlier, so we could have avoided that. I don't know. You want to take away so you're watching. It's almost like I hate watching the last weekend because the Jets are always out of it anyway, so it doesn't matter. It's almost like I hate watching the last week of the regular season anyway because it's just I can't play fantasy. Maybe I'll put a wager on something, because it's legal where I am. On a game or two, but that's really it. It sort of ends for me the week before. I thought about maybe pushing it back so that we would, like I said, we would avoid, playing. Everyone plays each other once, and it's a true balanced schedule. But that was to me, it was like an overthink.
If I might ask, could we talk a little 2025 Jets?
Absolutely, sure.
We
can
don't
get
have
off the really esoteric draft related stuff. Absolutely.
Well, yeah, just because we have 11 in YouTube still. I want to see if we can drum up some chat messages
Absolutely.
from them. We don't have to stay on forever, but I do, like last year, I want to kind of get your vibes on what you expect. I mean, we changed regimes. We didn't really officially get your vibes about that change. Maybe just that. Maybe just talk to me for a minute. What did you think of the regime change? If you want to bleed into the draft, what you thought of their performance there. Just talk to me. What do you think?
Sure. Well, if you really want my full breakdown of what I think the 2025 NFL season is going to be for the Jets, you can always check out Same Old Jets, my podcast. It is live on Spotify and on YouTube, not YouTube, Apple Podcasts. We put some clips on YouTube, but not too many. It's like a landing spot for us. But, we take this season and we turn the Jets the preview for the Jets season into a bunch of different trials. So for our new quarterback, our new head coach, our new GM. So it's related to a lot of the new things here, but also some of the players who had mercurial weird down seasons last year. Sauce Gardner, Quinnen Williams, Breece Hall. We look at them and we say, okay, where are they as far as, some of them with contracts are going to be around longer, but were they good investments versus maybe like a Breece Hall, which is the episode that actually debuted today. We sort of break down pros and cons and we put it on trial as my partner Kyle, he was very much pro Breece Hall and we should sign him to an extension, whereas I played the heavy and say, okay, listen, we're going to a running back by committee. We look at the other investments or investments that are made by other teams with running backs, and were they wise ones? Most often they're not. So we try to be very comprehensive with it, and we explain what we think is going to happen during the season and what the fallout will be. So that's my plug. But, in order to answer your question, I am not as bearish as a lot of other people are, because I think that there's more in Fields than is what lets on, as you take you're back with me. Okay. I think there's more with what Fields than we've seen so far. They played very vanilla in the preseason. I think that there's more, first of all, definitely with designed runs, but I think somebody's going to unlock him. I don't know if it'll be us, but I think somebody's going to unlock him. And I think he's going to have a really good, he might surprise you and just out of nowhere have a 3,500 yard or maybe 4,000 yard passing season and just, light it up. I mean, he was the number one recruit in all of the nation. We were talking with, I think it was in Wayne we trust. He's from Atlanta, in the Atlanta area, and he saw him at Kennesaw and when he was in high school. Somebody's going to unlock him. Will it be us if there's not a real and that was another thing that we covered in the podcast too. It's how can we unlock this guy? I think it'll happen, but again, he's 26. We look at Steve Young types, Vinny Testaverde types. It's not unprecedented, but how is it going to be done? And it might just be in the sense that you're flying under the radar here, and not everyone is going to put up the best prep for the Jets necessarily. We're going to beat the crap out of a lot of teams as far as our physicality, and we got some weapons in the trenches. and I'm bullish on them. I think the 5.5 is way too low. And usually I'm pessimistic about the over-unders with the team because they just figure out new and interesting ways to disappoint us. But I think they're much better. And, ultimately, I think there's a question that I presented to you when we did our quick to judge as part of filming your episode. And I don't remember what you said specifically, but Murph, your co-host, said it was not going to happen. But I think that when you're talking about the last home game of the season, December 28th against New England, I think that the Jets will be mathematically alive for a playoff spot, and that's the second to last week of the season, and so the Buffalo game might be interesting.
Yeah.
That would be great if they spoiled their last game there when they're wearing their red helmets and they think it's going to be a massive party. I would just love it. Imagine if that game got flexed to Sunday Night Football. And that ended up being where the Jets got in the playoffs. They break this schneid. That's like the ultimate dream to me because I don't think we'll win the Super Bowl this year. But if they can figure out a way to make the playoffs, one, I think Aaron Glenn, probably wins Coach of the Year. And two, it would just be such a relief for all of us to actually be like, okay, fine, we're vindicated. We're on the right track.
Dude, okay. By the way, that's not totally implausible, like if that's even the right word. Like it can be done. I think Wilkes in that defense plays a huge role in it. But like you said, if Fields can play, dude, play well, not just rushing but passing, then that everything gets unlocked at that point.
I think if they're
Bec-
hanging around, they pick up a wide receiver too at the trade deadline. I don't think they trade Brees then, and I think they pick up a wide receiver, and I think they open it up a little bit more.
Do you think they can do it without and just Garrett and Mason and Brees just running a very sound 3-headed attack?
It's just you haven't been shown much. That's the whole thing. You just don't know. Right now, you're thinking that Beck, the fullback, is going to be like a big weapon, and he might not end up being anything. But you just look at the way that they played, and they seem to have, all for one kind of approach to where they spread the ball around a lot. It's almost like Green Bay a little bit, like everyone takes a little bit of a turn, at least from what I've seen in the preseason. Again, it's just so hard to know. I don't know about Mason Taylor. Tight end is so hard for a first-year player. That's why what Bowers did last year was just so sort of unicorn and miraculous, because usually the learning curve is so steep for tight ends. So I don't want to put, in my mind, like any sort of expectation on him. I think that, Ruckert, with being an Ohio State guy, the idea that, I think he's going to be a little better because they kept him. So I think he's going to be a little bit better than what we let on. Now, they might, with picking up Jelani Woods today, he might be the odd man out. I don't know. But no, actually, you know what they did? They dropped Tyler Johnson of all people. So actually, to me, it's like you really thinned out your wide receiver room even more. And Tyler Johnson wasn't Jerry Rice, but just the idea that, shoot, now it's just like, okay, Garrett Wilson, Josh Reynolds, and then they don't have Corley, they don't have Johnson. So who's their wide receiver 3 now?
It sounds like a lot of 12
Lazard.
personnel. A lot of 12
Yeah.
personnel. Like, is Stone Smart going to be more a big slot? That changes things a little bit when you have a tight end playing wide receiver. A lot can be done. A lot of interchangeable parts on offense, and probably a lot of 12 personnel, man.
Yeah, I think we could both agree that Engstrand's going to have to be very creative and unorthodox with how he approaches the way that he's going to spread the ball around. And so if everyone eats and they all, like, everyone chips in, let's say Josh Reynolds, you can count on him for like 3 catches and 30 yards every week. I mean, that's not going to knock anyone's socks off, but at least he's chipping in, and I guess if it's a steady offense, then yeah, things can happen, because I think their special teams will be much better than what they've shown the last couple of years, even with Brant Boyer, and he's always considered one of the better special teams guys. But Chris Banjo is, to me, it's like I'm really buying like his approach and how they're going to get. There's a real emphasis between the draft and everything on special teams, and I like what they're doing there, because they're not going to knock everyone's socks off with their offense. You know, their defense has its strengths, but they probably won't be top of the league. But they seem like a plucky kind of team that could be like the best special teams team in the NFL, and that could vault them again. That could steal a win or two, and they're not going to be a juggernaut, but they could be the type of team that they're a pain in the ass to play. And then, you know, it's not impossible. It's the AFC is tough, but it's not impossible to win 9 games. It's not impossible to win 10 games. I'm not saying
It's
that they're
not.
going to do it, but I think that if they are the good,
Feisty.
they're you know, a tough team, they're not going to be fun to play against.
Yeah, I'm with you. If they're feisty, man, they could easily. I mean, that's 500. It's not too much to ask. Snowball asks though,
Sure.
what's your order for the East?
I would probably then put, if I'm being very optimistic, I don't necessarily believe in New England. I don't think Drake May is a great quarterback. Maybe, I mean, he was drafted 3rd overall, but, you know, so was Sam Darnold. You know, so if a lot of people have been drafted 3rd overall, and, you know, he wasn't nearly the player that Jaden Daniels was, who was picked 1 spot ahead of him. He wasn't the player that Bo Nix was, drafted, you know, 10 spots behind him or whatever it was. So, you know, I get it's different situations. He didn't start the year, but, you know, I never walked away thinking like, damn, Drake May can't miss. So, you know, there's a lot of projection on New England because of Vrabel, and because it's New England, they'll figure out a way. They don't, you know, they're not star-crossed. They don't figure out ways to butt fumble and fail Mary like we do. But, you know, I'll take, you know, in the AFC, I don't think that you can say that the Jets will surpass the Bills. I don't expect that this year. It's too hard to do. Let me put them in 2nd place. Let's just do it. Let's say the Jets shock a lot of people. They finish in 2nd, and we'll say the Patriots finish 3rd and the Dolphins finish 4th. I'm not high on the Dolphins. Nobody seems to be. Maybe they finish 3rd and the Patriots finish 4th. That wouldn't be out of the realm of possibility. But let's put the Jets 2nd, because in my mind, it's like I have to think that there has to be a way to make a playoff. And, you know, why not us? Why are we not due? You know, I mean, it doesn't make a lot of sense to a lot of pundits out there, but, you know, there's stuff here. It just hasn't been unlocked.
Yeah, and it's like a new taste. Like we needed to cleanse our palates after last year. Hell, I find it funny because a year ago we spoke and everybody was flying high about this team, and then we had you on and you were giving pause when nobody else was. Ultimately you were right, and a lot of people would say that team was way better than this one on paper, yet you were down on the team a year ago on their odds, but now you're up. Can you talk on that? Is it just the change in like?
Well, in hindsight, it was so you don't realize how much they were so tied, for better or worse, to Rodgers and his peccadillos and the way that he liked to run an offense and all the changes he would make at the line, the fact that he didn't do motion. It's just like weird sort of. It was an offense that just, you know, you never see in the NFL. And the idea that, you know, we've always been begging for the Jets to be a more aerial team. And he put up superficially very good numbers, but it never felt like, you know, we were a team that was killing people on offense, and we weren't. So it's like a weird zombie stat line when you look at that. I mean, it was puffed up too by the last game against Miami where he threw 4 touchdowns, and Miami just basically didn't show up to play at all. It was funny because they had a shot at the playoffs, but they were looking at the scoreboard and they realized Denver won 40-0 over the Chiefs, and they were just like, okay, we're packing it up. We got this new punt league playing. It doesn't matter. But which is an indictment of Miami for sure. But you know, yeah, it was just a weird year, Dane. And you didn't even understand it until you got to, you know, again, 4th, 5th game of the season. And when they fired Saleh, I mean, a lot of us were happy about that, because I don't think we ever thought that we were ever going to win anything with Robert Saleh. There was enough of a track record there. And I think you could also say, and not to diverge too much, once he was not the coach anymore, I could look back and say, Robert Saleh's coaching never won us one game. It never did. It lost us games, but it never won us one particular game. I can't think of a coaching decision he made that was like, hey, we stole a win from somebody. Never happened. So you cut that cancer out, but the problem is you had nothing to fulfill. You should have done that, in the off season before and bit the bullet and just said, "Hey, this isn't working." But then
Albricht's the same guy, man. Albricht's the same guy. The same guy. Like Albricht and Sala, I when it happened, I was over Sala and I was pumped for Albricht's chances. He was the same guy.
And the defense suffered because he couldn't concentrate on the defense. He was spread too thin.
Facts.
So
you were going to say Aaron Glenn?
And listen, he might not be Vrabel, but he's Vrabel for us. He's somebody who's there is something to say about the idea that a Jet came home, and I don't get really rah about stuff like that personally. I tend to be more of like a pragmatist as far as the way that I view the team, but there is something to that. Somebody actually choosing us and making sure that I wanted to come here. And the reason why I wanted to come here is because, and we talk about it in his trial in my show. Again, I'm plugging my own show, but the idea that he said,
"Cool with me."
I've watched this for 22 years since I've been going, or however long it was. I think it was like 20 years. And he said, not a day goes by where I don't feel like the empathy for it. And I don't see this is really eating at not only the organization, but the people who, came out to Hofstra and now to Florham Park and, are diehard fans of this team. And they've been through a lot. They've been through, it's funny. You don't realize that moving to that new stadium has really screwed the team. Both teams really, but who were the inhabitants there. But the Jets are 10 games under 500 in that building all time. It's almost impossible to have a losing record at home. Like if you have any sort of, if you're any sort of normal football team.
Yeah.
So
just the fact that fans got to travel to you, and yet you lose more than you win in your own place. I'm with you.
Well, here's what they do, Dane. They come in Saturday night or the Saturday during the day. They go see Hamilton or they go see a nice Broadway show, and then they could get tickets for dirt cheap for their team to go play. They can get in for the building for probably under $50 a piece, and then they can watch their team kick our ass because we have no home field advantage. We play in a giant air conditioner, so it works out for them. And they get a lot of tailgating space, and they can make a nice weekend out of it. And that's been the horror point of it too. It's there's no real it's a very cavernous building. There's not a lot of charm to it. It's not like Giant Stadium. Giant Stadium, you're more on top of the game. Giant Stadium was really kind of like a clone of Arrowhead. Arrowhead and Giant Stadium are very similar buildings, but Arrowhead remains, and we have MetLife.
Which might be the worst of all the new stadium. Well, read the surveys. That's all I got to say.
It holds a lot of people. It has the highest capacity still, but also FedEx Field in DC also held a lot of people too, and that's also rated, at the bottom of the league every single season. So there you go. Frustrating
indeed, man. We had a Super Bowl there. Hopefully that paid for half of it. And then, hey, who knows? Maybe we squeak into a playoff game. Things are trending up. Maybe we make a decent playoff run next year, and then boom, we're looking for a new lease. I don't know the logistics of that, but cozier sounds nice when it comes to home field advantage. Can you still pack $70K into a cozier stadium? If you can, do it, man. Do it.
Think about this though, that stadium's been around now for 15 years. So you're talking between two teams sharing it 30 combined seasons, hosted one playoff game. How pathetic is that? And that wasn't our team that had the playoff game either. It was the Giants. The Giants hosted the Falcons, I think, 1 year in a wild card round game. It's hosted one playoff. No, it's hosted two playoff games. Forgive me. They lost to the Eagles.
Super Bowl.
Yeah. And the Super Bowl, but I don't count that. It's not a Jet or a Giant, but it's hosted two playoffs. It's hosted one playoff win. No Jet playoff game. I was at the last one, January 4th, 2003, 41-0 against the Colts. One of the greatest days of my life. 18 years old. My whole life ahead of me. Now I'm 40. I'm rapping on the Danger Zone.
Careful, it'll suck you in, man. Lee Van chiming in. He would know. He says, the problem is not just the building, it's the location. Thoughts on that?
Yeah, it was the same location as it was when it was Giant Stadium. I mean, yeah, obviously I would have preferred them. And we did an episode about this again, another plug, trial of MetLife Stadium. And we talked about the postmortem about how the West Side Stadium would have been in so many ways so much more ideal for us having our own building. But not only that, being in New York, there's something about being in New York too. Playing in Shea Stadium meant a lot to a lot of people. The idea of being in Manhattan. There's not a lot of teams. There's no baseball teams in Manhattan, and there's never really been a football team in Manhattan ever. So there's the idea of being the first team in like the real epicenter of the city would be insane. I mean, what did they turn that into? They turned it into the Hudson Yards, which if you ever see it is like this weird like beehive, upside down beehive looking sort of piece of abstract art, which is people can go on escalators, and it's kind of interesting looking next to the Jacob Javits Center, but it's football stadium would have been a lot more interesting, and we would have had a roof. And trust me, when you watch a crappy football team and you're sitting there like I've done so many times over being a season ticket holder, and you watch a crappy team and it's chilling you to the bone because you're getting wet a lot of times too, because it's raining or snowing, and you feel like you're down 3 touchdowns and you just want to essentially end it all. Having a roof would be helpful. But there was so much politics behind that too, and I'm rambling. But yeah, it's
you're
location, but it's just that they kind of I mean, it's like everything nowadays, and I'm actually not somebody who decries, McDonald's all being part of square buildings and Taco Bell being all in square buildings and Cracker Barrels now not being like, a big, essentially it looks like, a hoarder's paradise, and now they tried to make it more streamlined. I'm not going to, say one thing is worse than the reason why people are trying to build physical buildings like this and stadiums like this is because if you have to unload it, it's just an easier thing to do, and you can use it as a better space for the next tenant. So that
makes sense.
The reason why that is people are just like, you mess with my stadium, or hey, you mess with my building, and I want my Pizza Hut to look like an actual Pizza Hut, and it's so stupid. I was just watching a documentary about it today. So.
Well, and I give you credit because like not everyone that I have on this program or in these chats are season ticket holders, man. So like your opinion carries a certain amount of weight because you are there at least 8 or 9 Sundays a year. It sounds like even more because you do hit the occasional road game. You're also you're tailgating. So we didn't blink twice whenever you were a little bit down on the Rodgers era as a whole. Also, like, would you have felt differently in 2023? We didn't get to ask you then, but
no, not necessarily. I ultimately understood that there was a reason why we were bidding against ourselves. There was no other. Someone, I don't remember who it was. It might have been like Brandon Tierney or Sal Licata or somebody on WFAN said San Francisco was like a mystery stalker as far as getting a trade for him, because that was always the big thing. Like, he would always want to go home to San Francisco, but I never believed any of that. We were the only bidder for him 2 years ago when they were trying to get rid of him, and we got what we paid for. It was. I lived through Favre, and Favre was okay, but Favre tore his bicep, and he couldn't do anything after that. And if Favre stayed healthy, that's a big what if, because we definitely make the playoffs. That was the year.
Or if he gets out of there and says he's injured.
Yeah, because he kind of. But it was so weird with him too. You just watch that documentary also on Netflix about his year here, and just the stuff that he was involved with, and he's not a very savory person, so I'm not going to go into his personal life, but it just seemed like he was such a mercenary. But we want to win. Again, I understand why the Jets did it. I don't blame them for doing it. It was a little bit of a shortcut, but again, you got a Hall of Fame quarterback, and he wanted to be here. And you can see the quotes that he had from that interview the other day. I think a lot of things about him I think are disingenuous, but I think genuinely he wanted to do well here because I think it would have really, if he ever won a Super Bowl here, forget it. He would have been a god.
We were, if you froze time week 11, week 12 that year, that's not a crazy thing to say. Like we were 8-3 right there. And we were like a good looking team.
Yeah, I was talking about Rodgers though with that comparison, but
Oh.
Favre the same thing. If Favre had won a Super Bowl, yeah, forget it.
True. Yeah. True. And on paper, the team with Rodgers might have had an even stronger chance than Favre's. Call me crazy, but like on paper, that team should have had a great chance. 2023, 2024, that window looked legit to me.
The Favre team was better just because you don't realize they had such a strength on the offensive line. It wasn't even funny. Like we were so spoiled by the idea because we just had crappy quarterbacks. We just did not realize what we had. That O-line for about better part of a decade was always like top 5, and they just had they did a great job in drafting the same year with Brick and with Mangold, both in the first round, but they had like the Alan Fanecas and the Pete Kendalls, and they had, a wonderful, they went from Mawai to Mangold. It was like the passing of a torch too. Brandon Moore and Damian Woody, they just, like, anybody out there was hyper competent, if not a superstar as far as a lineman goes. And a lot of Hall of Famers in that group. So, and you just realize that, with those defenses too, you had at all 3 levels, you had guys who could be. We didn't have great linebackers. Bart Scott was, probably our best out of all of them. But, David Harris wasn't anything to sneeze at. Sean Ellis was so steady. It's you look back at those teams, if we just only had a quarterback, we probably could have won a Super Bowl. We just never had the right quarterback. Pennington always had a ceiling, and then, Favre got hurt that one year, and then we had a rookie with Sanchez. So, c'est la vie.
Nick, we are about to wrap here. Can you buy me 30 seconds? Can you buy me 30 seconds though? Because
Sure.
I do have to pee real fast, but Jets Worldwide and Lee Van both have a comment here on screen about moving the stadium. Could you maybe chat about the idea of the Jets going into Queens, going on the island, while I just hop away, drain the
Sure.
main vein, and then return?
Yeah, because I do your thing. I worked for the United States Tennis Association as part of my early part of my career, and it was always talked about the fact that it was kind of forbidden that they would ever the Corona Park and the New York City would ever lease any more of that land that was considered very sacred. A lot of it was meant to be parkland for kids to go biking or play soccer or do whatever they did. Now they've just opened. It's been more of a free for all the last decade, as far as what they're allotting with that land there. I mean, they moved. As far as I know, I think they expanded the National Tennis Center, but they also are accommodating soccer, their professional soccer there too. So, it's all maybe just like a timing thing, because if we were looking for a new stadium now, they would be sort of ripe with, putting a proposal there and, maybe getting something as part of, in partnership with Citi Field. I know they're expanding and they're trying to take the chop shops out and put up, essentially what a lot of consortiums are doing in Atlanta and other places, where they're building actually like a community around a stadium, so that 12 months out of the year you have functional places where people can dine, hotels, movie theaters, all that stuff. It sounds like the Mets are doing that with what their ultimate big plan is, and a football stadium with that would have been great. And I think that, again, any sort of new stadium that they go to, I think they have to have a roof. I think they're losing too many people to the couch, because it just sucks to sit there and watch a crappy football team and get rained on, or sit there in the bitter cold and, you're around still, even if it's visiting fans, you're still around 70,000 people. And, every time I go there, I'm like, how the hell do I not get like violently sick? Just coming home. So that's my, I think I vamped enough, but it was a good vamp. It wasn't like too crazy. But yeah, that's the history of how I understood it, is why they don't build in Queens, or why they didn't up until right now.
That's one thing us out of market people will just never understand. I've been to New York a few times. I've never got to see a Jets home game. I do intend on it at some point, but I want to go when I know that I'm going to see a great show. I've heard horror stories like Green Bean, who's been to like 5 games, and every single one we've had 0 offensive touchdowns. Trying to
That's
avoid that.
that's really rough. I mean, yeah, we've had games where there was a game against Buffalo a couple years ago. It wasn't even with Josh Allen. It was before they had Josh Allen. I think Matt Barkley was picked up off the street, and the Jets didn't have like a first down until like the third quarter. Like crap, like games like that don't happen to any other team. They happen to us. And that's the problem. Is you go to these games and sometimes you walk away, you're embarrassed. Like, not only did they lose, but they like embarrassed me. They made me feel like an idiot for giving them money. Like, to even think that I was going to come here and have a good time that day. That's what they do to you. I'm not trying to be really negative, but
No.
literally, I've walked away from that stadium a dozen times thinking that.
And last thing on the negative front, like there was games during the Zach Wilson era where even on my own couch, I've watched a Jet game start to finish and not even cheered once. Like
Yeah.
just rough, man. When you watch a team and you don't even like, yeah, first down, nothing. The whole game just silent. Like, all
And the
right,
game
we're
against
behind.
Zach,
We're behind. All right, he's getting sacked over and over. All right, like we were out of it from start to finish.
I don't know what Bill Belichick did to that kid, but he he would have bad games, but he would have subterranean, atrocious games against the Patriots, and the Patriots weren't even good most of the time, but they just knew how. Like they couldn't do anything against. He couldn't do anything against that particular team. Just couldn't do it, especially in New England. Forget it.
I am hoping, like, because the juju has been off, man. It's been so far off. I am hoping that the right recipe, because I mean, come on, we're not going to get a great coach to come in here, but the next best thing to break some juju up might be a former, great player for this franchise that not only just played well here, but then went and literally climbed the coaching ranks, scouting all the way up, and learn from greats of our past as well, and greats of others past as well.
You would agree with me. There was no better option because Ben Johnson wasn't coming here because Ben Johnson is an Adam Gase buddy, and he saw how Gase was handled here, and I'm sure that he was not told great stories about it. And plus, he had the pick of anywhere he wanted to go, so he wanted no part in New York. So you're talking about Aaron Glenn, or I'm trying to think who else got hired in the second. They talk about Pete Carroll for half a second, like potentially coming back here. That wasn't going to happen though. He wants to be West Coast and.
Vrabel, Rex.
Yeah, Vrabel interviewed here, and that was just a stalking horse to get New England to up their ante, and they did, and that's what happened, and good for him. And Rex wasn't going to happen.
Yeah, yeah.
It
I think we're better off.
It would have happened like 1 or 2 hiring cycles ago. It wouldn't have happened now.
I honestly think we're better off with Glenn over Rex. I think we're better off with Glenn over, call me crazy, Ben Johnson. But only because I don't think he was a fit here. I really don't.
No.
I think
You know what?
that
Like those offensive guys, they want to be comfortable. They want to be in like a lot of times warm weather or dome cities. They want to be able to have a place which is ironic because he went to Chicago, but Chicago is like that's as far as on the totem pole of franchises. Chicago is the Hallases, and it's more they're like one of the original teams of the NFL. I get it. The Jets are, to an outsider, the Jets are always going to be the second team in New York until they win something, like really
correct.
Win something.
And with this team, like, I think we got the best of both worlds. We got Glenn to get that defense the fucking order. They have way too many, like they have 3 or 4 studs on it. There's no reason they should have been as bad as they were last year. If you can get Glenn to get that right and Wilkes, Angstrom is nothing to just scoff at, man. I like that pairing. I really do. The 3-headed monster that is Glenn, Angstrand, and Wilkes, I think, is damn near the most well-rounded triangle at the top we could have had.
Yeah, as you get all these troll comments here about Paul Hack. You
Yeah,
just don't, and
yes.
that's the, but you know, you just don't know. Like, and it's with Angstrand. It's, and we did an episode about Angstrand too. Listen to this podcast; you'll have a lot of fun. They're quick and easy listens, and you can do it in your car. You don't have to watch a video. It's great. Trust me. With the thing with Engstrand is he's like, you know, it's sort of like redemption potentially for Michael LaFleur, because I thought Mike LaFleur, you know, with him, it was the first time in maybe 50 years where somebody might have been copying the Jets and looking at game plans and plays and, you know, ripping off it, you know, somebody who actually called offensive plays for the Jets. That Mike LaFleur had some talent. You know, maybe he was in over his head, but, you know, there were game scripts. I mean, I was at that Halloween game with Mike White, and, you know, I'll look back at that. It's funny. It's like, you know, I've been, from my time as a season ticket holder, that was the most joyous day of anything. You know, you go in there and, you know, Cincinnati made the Super Bowl that year, and they were flying high. They were the number one team in the conference, and we kicked their ass. We really did. The guy White threw. They put his jersey in Canton. I mean, it's like,
Yeah. That's awesome.
but that was Mike LaFleur's, like, you know, his opus. That was,
Yes.
you know, him, you know, and then they were just so efficient because it wasn't deep passes. It was just, you know, moving. It was almost
Precision.
a pure like West Coast offense game, but with like a little more flair. It was
You know
great.
what? Lee Van said he's a Rex truther. Call me crazy. I am a Mike White truther. I would have
Well, he's
loved to have
available, you
him.
know.
Dude, I would QB3, he would have been my top choice. Call me crazy, man. But I don't know that that would have worked having him behind Fields and Terod. But I think that guy is worth way more than the $1 million he was set to get from Buffalo this year.
Yeah. Scott,
When he got
I said that it was troll-ish. I didn't call you specifically a troll. And I
yes,
actually talked
Scott.
to you about Mike White, and I think you and I were having a conversation. If they ever brought Mike White in here, like with Justin Fields, he would have to be like immaculate for the first month. He couldn't make like any mistakes, because you have the fan base here will eat him alive, and they'll want Mike White in the game. They just will, and it might not make any sense, but that's what they're going to want.
Mike White, we'll see where. So Buffalo cut him. Is that what I'm hearing?
Buffalo cut him, yeah.
Trubisky, really? You could have got Trubisky to handcuff to Allen, you know.
That's true, but you want to know something nah, it's, he was the number 2 overall pick. He was picked ahead of who the hell was Mahomes. All right, maybe that wasn't
Crazy.
a great thing, but you know, somebody saw something in him. And Mike
Scott,
White was 5th round.
Scott jokes though because he actually has had dinner with Paul Hackett and he knows Nathaniel as well. So I think that was his angle there. Nick, you've plugged the show, but I want to hear it one more time officially. Where can we find you? Because I believe in a couple days here, your listeners to this show can even hear Murph and I on your
Drum roll.
show. So perfect time to plug it officially, concise. Go ahead, brother.
Okay, so today is Wednesday, right? So you will this Saturday at noon, we have the trial of Darren Muji, and it will feature 2 guest judges. It's the only the second time we've done this. We did it with Snowball and Johnny Boy, but it'll be 2 guest judges. It'll be Judge Dano and it'll be Judge Murph, and they will be essentially adjudicating whether or not it will be same old Jets and hiring a 40-year-old wonderkin football lifer in Darren Muji. Will he be the GM that leads us to the Super Bowl? Well, one of us makes the case for, one of us makes the case against. I won't spoil it and tell you who wins, but I tend to win a lot of them. It is a great listen, so you'll find us. Just look up Same Old Jets, and it might be a painful thing to type into any search bar, but look up Same Old Jets. You can find us on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, or really any place you can find podcasts, and I guarantee it's great. And the one thing about it too is, again, it's like you could do it while you're, you know, mowing the lawn, or, you know, take a long drive, or, you know, beach season is ending soon, but, you know, you still can go to the beach or go to the lake. pop on same old Jets, listen. You could still listen to the whole series at this point, and it's really, you could do it in one sitting if you really wanted to. The episodes are between 20 and 30 minutes long, not a big time consuming, and you'll learn a lot of stuff because we did. We put a lot of research into it, and we put on a pretty darn good show. So, and thank you for letting me plug. I appreciate this opportunity, and thank you for letting me. This is fun.
Yeah, for sure. I will also plug it again this Friday night in the
Saturday
DZ.
night.
Well,
Sorry.
yeah. We have Dom C on this Friday night, so when there's our peak viewing, we'll plug it one more time for you, man. Appreciate you following up last year's epic stream that we did.
This was more subdued. I didn't get as as last year, but I think again the trade off is I think maybe I was a little more articulate.
Yeah. Well, no, I feel you. I had technical difficulties, which is par for the course, but Murph held it down for me. Yeah, Scott's wondering, is it on YouTube? Scott asks.
No, I put some clips up there, but I've been sort of like using that as just a place to put a link if I want to share things in the Discord. Like we'll do we're doing these quick to judge segments where essentially our judges are going to rapid fire do over unders, yes, no's, true or false about aspects of the Jet season. So it's like all the trials that we covered and the feature players that we cover. It's each judge's chance to talk about the season holistically. So it's like rapid fire fun questions. I would tell you to check it out if you're on the Asmaniac Discord. I put a link there in general. Check out the video. It's about 3 minutes long. It's really fun with Murph. Give Murph some love. But for us, it's what was the question again?
Is it on YouTube? No, just
it's not really on YouTube. I'm just kind of using that as a way station to get some plugs in. Really, it's because it's not meant to be a video show. It's just really like a podcast. So
and let me interject. Like there, and I'm not knocking anyone, but there's a lot of shows out there where you have to really pick through to find the good shit. This is not that. This is something that you're going to queue up in your podcast app on Apple iPhone, or you're going to go to in Spotify. It's going to be 20 minutes, fully digestible, straight to the point. It's going to be a trial. Is Muji, the same old we're going to get, just a redux, or is he going to be the guy? Is Glenn, blah, blah, blah. It's going to be straight to the point. You're not going to waste 5 hours to get 20 good nuggets. You're going to get 20 good nuggets in 20 minutes. So follow it.
If I can add one more thing to that, I know you're trying to wrap this up, but it was not what you guys did and what every judge did, and I was very happy with how everything turned out. Is you didn't just judge it on what you think was going to happen this season. It was really you listened to both cases and you really were fair-minded. And the idea is like you picked the best case. Whoever made the best case was the one who ultimately won the trial. So that's the fun of it too, because we're just trading on and off. Like, I might really think that Justin Fields is going to be dog crap this year, but I had to make the case that he was going to be great. So I have to, research and make sure that I can make the proper case for it and be a good lawyer. And then, try to convince not only you as the judge, but also the listening audience. And we have an interactive component where people could email us or they can, send us their feedback on, Discord or whatever. And, we're responsive to it. So it's been good in the early going.
Yeah. It's like you're walking straight into a courtroom and you're going to hear both sides and you're going to hear the judge and they're going to get to a verdict. All about your New York Jets, folks. So definitely, again, follow the channel on those two app services. Also, listen and review. Could use all of that just to get plugged into more people.
I'm being crappy at plugging this stuff, man, but you're right. Hey. Anything that can help us out, leave a review. We want to, make sure that we spread this as far as wide as we can. We know it only has a small shelf life too, because it really is a preview for this season. So, once kickoff happens, it sort of sours. But you even still, even listening into September, you're going to get a good baseline for, even if you're just even more of a casual fan too. We have folks who are not Jet fans listening to this show, and they're learning something about football, or they're learning something about being a long-suffering sports fan that really is relatable. And something the reviews we got have been pretty good, mostly from people we know, but hey, we'll take it.
Hey, as Lee Van says, the trials are fun. Tune in, guys. Check it out. Hey, Saint Nick, Commissioner, Champion, all of the
El
above.
Campeon, you're the
One,
champion, man.
hey, we are. It's forever, man. We're both
Is
champions.
that like being
Also,
Eskimo brothers?
hey, I guess it is close to midnight on the East Coast. Um, also, fantastic video editor. When you see Murph's chop up or anyone's cut up on YouTube, you'll notice there's actually editing in that. There's you'll see what I mean. Uh, appreciate that as a viewer. I'm sure others will as well. So keep doing your thing, brother. And hey,
Gracias.
we will enjoy the trials. I also look forward to seeing what you have in store for us next summer. So,
Oh boy.
appreciate it,
Do it
man.
up.
Hey, enjoy week 1. I know you'll be there. I'll be living vicariously through you. Maybe upload some shorts on that YouTube channel of week 1.
I should get more
Yeah.
involved with it. I used to, like, again, just with my background, I used to do all that stuff for like corporate and, like any sort of firm that I worked for. But, very rarely did I do stuff by myself, because I tend to be a pretty private guy, but I should do more of that stuff.
Yeah. Hey, we would, those of us who are enjoying the trials will enjoy anything you create. So do your thing, man. Good talking to you tonight, and have a good weekend.
Dane, love you. See
Love
you
you,
later.
bro. Yes, sir. Have a good one. And I mean that. Dude, hell of a guy. Hell of a guy. That is his annual fulfillment of Danger Zone responsibilities. He's doubt he's still watching, but don't care. I just want to say that he's got my undevoted support, because again, you will see the Murph cut up, and you'll say, wow, man, there's more going on in that than most other things I watch. I respect that. And I support that, like that, comment that, share that, because that means that he'll make more. And as he makes more, he'll get better. As he gets better, I'll get better content. That's how the algorithm should work, man. Like, support, comment people you think will put their all into the craft to get better. They don't just do the same thing all the time over and over. Yeah, Nick's not one like that. He's going to keep trying to reinvent the wheel. And as he does, the wheel gets better, the wheel spins better, et cetera, et cetera. So, hey, that's what he's done with this fantasy league. It was great in year 1. Hey, all of a sudden, year 2, it was even better. Year 3, he's tweaked a few things. It's even better. Like, I respect that. I do. So, um, when you're like that, you have my full on support. Also, last year he was great. This year, great again, man. Love it. Scott, a couple comments I want to get to while I'm wrapping here, assuming Scott doesn't hop in and tell me about his draft haul in a league that we know nothing about, which could extend things just briefly here. I got 11 still on YouTube. If you're still here, respect, dude. We're just chilling, man. Wednesday night, approaching midnight on the East Coast. It's only 8:42 here, man. I could go another 4 hours. Just kidding. Scott, though, you asked, did you ever have Modine on? No, I did not. And if memory serves, I think he appeared on the Jet Stream on YouTube at least once. I don't know of any other show he's appeared on, but he has not appeared on this show. Not many do. I'd say we have a good solid 12 or 14 solid. Modine, no. If he wants to call in anytime, he can. No, we will hear him out whether he has video on or strictly mic or he just stays in the chat. Whatever. We're always willing to hear him out. I don't know what that means, Scott. He says, "Okay, we'll show." Is that a complete sentence? I don't know, but there's the link if you want it. If not, I'm winding down. I do want to try to pull another screenshot or two of that draft. I want you guys to grade my freaking team because you heard about it, but you didn't really see it. Let me see if I can grab that. It'd help if I didn't have like at least 5 or 6 already. Let's see. Oh, someone's in the green room. Well, they're gonna have to wait. I'm trying to find my draft. Appreciate you though if you're still watching. Stick around. You'll get a little more content here. I'm just grabbing my own team, and then we're gonna hear about whoever just joined us. See if maybe they had a fantasy draft tonight, and hypothetically, whoever they are, how they might have did. Because I have no idea who they are yet, but I'm just assuming a lot. As I ramble here. All right. Where's my team? Boop, boop, boop. By the way, those instant Yahoo grades afterwards mean nothing except what they had projected for that player all year. And then they assume who your starting lineup's going to be. They assume how much they're going to score all year, and then they grade you based on that. So, no, screw all that. A+ sounds great, but they don't know shit. As Lee Van said, AI is BS. He's not joking. AI is BS. All right. I think I have my team, and then I'm going to have my guest. And who knows? Maybe they don't even want to hear about my team. All right. Done rambling. Closing this chat off. Sorry, guys. I'm going to bring out a guest. Oh, look, I have a guest.
I heard a cry for help, so I showed up. Yeah, usually
I was just vague enough, huh?
Usually the top grade is the kiss of death in those draft recaps. So don't get the A plus. And
no, although I got an A plus, but Nick got a better record than me projected. So what the hell does that mean?
I see that too. Like in my first one I was in, I got an A. I didn't get an A plus, but there were like people who got an A minus or a B plus who are projected to score more. So whatever. But the Modine question was actually for Nick because you could hear Modine debating. I don't know. To me, that'd be entertaining as hell. Modine's pretty witty. He'd have to be the anti-Jet debater though.
That would be actually a very entertaining show because he's not looking at it through a Jets lens per se.
Right.
But he's also very witty.
Very witty. Cracks me up.
So I do have my draft. I want to hear about yours. Do you have a preference which order we go in?
Not at all.
You know what? We've been talking about mine all night. Why don't I just rip off the scab, show you my team, and then we'll get to yours.
Okay.
Let's see. Because I don't know when you just joined when Murph got off, right?
Well, I was still drafting then, so I was on for a couple minutes. Then I got off, and I just came back a few minutes ago.
All right. This is what I did, and I want to get your thoughts on it. The 1s and 2, 3 on the left is just the order, but like in parentheses is when I took them.
Okay, hold on. Let's see. Oh God, you gonna make me put glasses on? Okay, Jamar Chase. Oh, you got him. Oh, who went first?
Dude, I was shocked as hell. First overall, Jameer Gibbs.
Really? Wow, that's a surprise. I mean, that's not going to lose you the draft, but that is a surprise.
Yeah, correct. Correct.
Wow, you went Omari and Hampton early. Okay.
Dude, I will say so many running backs went in the first 25. So
Yeah.
many.
Yeah. The first
Like
draft I was in was that way too.
27th overall, there was like Chase Brown was gone. Like there was all the running backs were gone, really.
Yeah. I've been in 2 drafts so far, and um, I had my first running back in the 4th round of my first draft, and tonight I took one in the 3rd round.
I guess my questions for you here would be, can Golden and Pittman form one wide receiver 3 for me?
Well, I drafted Pittman tonight, so I hope so.
Dude, 111 overall, not bad.
Yeah, I got him really late, and I wouldn't have touched him if Richardson was playing quarterback. I got 49ers defense, and I don't know if you looked at the schedule. They
Yeah.
got some chumps in playoff time.
That's good to hear. I did not, but I took a defense so late that I thought, you know what, Salah it is.
Well, that was for me. So I already had one defense. I like having 2 defenses, but it was down to my last pick. It was between the Jets defense and the 49ers defense. And I'd probably rather have the Jets defense. I just trust them more right now. But the 49ers got such an easy schedule. And then for this league, there's playoffs, and they're like, they're playing bad teams at the end of the season. So that's perfect for playoff time.
Fair. I was gonna take the Jets defense, but it was before the San Francisco pick. It was like the 13th round, and 169 Snowball takes the Jets. I'm like, damn it! All right, I guess I'm taking it. I'm taking a kicker.
Yeah, but look where you got the 49ers defense. I mean,
Yeah.
30 was that 27 picks late, 26 picks later.
Fair.
I'd say you did okay there.
Well, I asked you about my wide receiver 3, which I'm a little scared about. Let me ask you about my quarterback, even though I might know the answer. I got insurance. So between Nix and McCarthy, am I going to have a solid QB1 every week?
I just have a hard time trusting a rookie quarterback, which I know he's not a rookie, but essentially he's a rookie. But I think you're good with Bo Nix because his legs are undervalued. He can run, and if they're having a hard time throwing the ball, which I don't know, he's getting a bum rap. There's people who wanted to downgrade him coming out of college, and they just can't say they were wrong at this point. You look
When
what he
I
did
was
as a rookie.
Well, here's my struggle, and I'm going to beat myself up for this for 4 months. When I was set to take Nix, I could have had Mayfield. What would you have done?
That's a tough one. The thing about Mayfield, they got some injuries. He's got more weapons for sure.
Jalen McMillan's out for a while.
Godwin's coming back, but what's he going to be like?
Rashad White's a year older.
Well, but they got Bucky. And Tez.
Yeah, Tez. Dude, that's a sleeper there. He went undrafted.
Yeah. So I don't know. I don't know why Bo Nix wouldn't be even better than he was last year, other than
And
a tougher schedule, maybe.
if that's the case, I took McCarthy when I really didn't have any wide receiver or running back on the board that I needed. So I'm like, hey, I'll throw a dart at Kevin KOC developing McCarthy, and if I use him, I use him. If I don't, I trade him. Let me go to my final question. McBride, I'm not a McBride guy, but he was tight end too. So I'm going to skip that. We'll just assume that he'll at least be starting caliber. I want to ask you, do you even know Jarquez Hunter? Let me ask you that first.
I've heard the name. I hope he doesn't play very much. If that's kind of a clue on someone I drafted tonight.
Hold that thought.
But is he even the number 2 back there?
Okay. Yeah, he's like tied for 2
Okay.
with Corum.
Right.
But there's a lot of people for some reason down on Kyron Williams. So like every sleeper advice I got going into this draft was Jarquez Hunter might not be like the greatest guy, but like take him late because he could turn into something. Corum though, he's cooking too. So I've heard a lot of good about Corum as well.
Well, I remember hearing some of that stuff last year about Corum taking a bunch of carries away. Didn't
Never
happen.
happened. No.
Yeah. And so I kind of cooled off on him. But kind of like you mentioned with running backs going, I got to the 3rd round. He was the best one. I mean, who knows? But possibly the best one left. I ended up with a
Who? Blake
couple.
Corum?
No.
Kyron.
Kyron Williams. Yeah.
Oh yeah. I would take him in the 3rd.
So I almost didn't, but I thought, you know what? I want to make sure I get one. And who knows? Maybe he's due to cool down. But
Dude, so Garrett went 40th in this league.
really,
And then 48th, I think, someone took Brees. Snowball had 3 picks later, 51. You know who he took? Three picks after Brees.
Agent Zero.
Agent
Really?
Zero. I was hoping to
No,
get him in like the 7th or the 8th. Nah, man.
but you got to figure with who you're drafting with, Jets are going to go maybe earlier
Yeah.
than they do the rest of the world. Did
I
Fields
mean,
get
when
drafted?
he went in like the 6th.
Really? Wow.
Yeah.
He didn't get
Shocking.
drafted in the draft I was in tonight.
I can see why. Like, to me, he's like not like Bo Nix went in the 6th.
Wow. Okay.
You know. So like, I would Fields to me is a very watered down Bo Nix.
Yeah.
Okay, but my last real question is, how do you like my running back room as a whole? I do have Hampton. Yeah, he's my best. That's suspect. But Pacheco paired at the very end with Kareem Hunt,
Okay.
and then Eckler as like a high floor, low ceiling reserve.
Eckler will be their 3rd down back. He'll probably catch 70 passes.
Yes, he will. Heh.
I like Pacheco. Did you see they brought the LSU kid back?
I did not.
Chiefs, Clyde Edwards-Helaire.
Oh yeah, Diddy told me that during the draft, but
Yeah.
that to me doesn't move the needle.
No, but I like Pacheco.
Do you
And
like him better with Hunt?
I'd rather Hunt wasn't there. I thought Hunt took a lot of work from him.
Well, I mean, as a fantasy owner, do you like owning
Oh,
Pacheco, but
over
also
Hunt.
owning Hunt? Yeah. Having both.
Oh, Yeah, with this large of a roster, that probably wouldn't be a bad idea. Which you covered your ass, so that's pretty good. Um, Especially considering where you got Hunt. I'm sure there wasn't anything left there.
No.
And Hunt's going to get touches anyway, even if Pacheco is getting 65%. Hunt's still going to touch the ball plenty.
True. Mason Taylor, whom I may never use, with McBride, is that a strong tight end room or a weak one?
Well, it's very good because McBride's might catch 100 balls, but I'll bet he has more touchdowns than he did last year.
Man, you know your shit, man.
So
Because
you won't
they
you
had
won't have
him.
to play Mason Taylor very often
They had
unless
him
something goes wrong.
when I took McBride. There was, I forget who it was, but there was 1,000-yard receiver projected available. Since I already had Chase, I'm like, you know what? Bowers is gone. Rather than take like wide receiver 10 that's going to get, it might have been Lad McConkey, which might have been a mistake, but I already had a Charger.
Right.
So McBride, they had penciled in for 1,000 yards and 6 touchdowns. I'm like, you know what? I hate this pick. I don't like McBride. I don't like the Cardinals, but I like having a tight end premium. So I went that way. I probably should have went McConkey, but it was too late. I don't want Hampton and McConkey.
Well, I think you got the best Cardinal to get.
Fair.
So,
Fair. Well, let me ask you this. My first 3 picks, Chase, Hampton, McBride. I picked second overall. Compare that to Nate, who I think has one of the best teams. He picked like 11th, I think. He took Genty.
really?
It circles
Okay.
around. He takes Bowers,
Wow.
same team. Then snakes back around. He takes MHJ. Yeah. Talk to me.
MHJ went a lot later in the draft I just did than that. And in fact, I was almost going to draft him, but then he went before me. I don't know. That I'm not high on Genty. I really am. I'm higher on Hampton than Genty. I'd rather be in your shoes with that one right there. What do I know? But I like for running backs, especially how Harbaugh wants to play and how Roman wants to play. And then I'm expecting Bowers to come back to earth at least a little bit. I think the Raiders will run the ball more. It probably will be not getting blown out so much. And they were like down 3 scores all the time in the fourth quarter, which I know you had Bowers, and his fourth quarter stats were ridiculous.
They were. I also feel like he got better as the year went on, and with a better quarterback. I don't know.
Yeah.
Gino, if I'm taking a single Raider, maybe I take Gino. But if I'm taking 2, I don't know. Like, that's a lot invested into one team. The same reason I didn't take McConkey after Hampton is the same reason I would pause on Genty Bowers, but also Bowers might be tight end 1 at the end of this year, and Genty might be a top 10 running back, and
Yeah.
that's not a stretch.
There's no guarantees for any of these picks we make. But yeah, people are thinking differently than me on those 2 guys. My first draft I've done 2. Genty and Bowers both went in the top 10. And one guy was a Raiders fan that took Bowers. I was still surprised, but afterwards, I'm okay. I get it. He would have taken Genty if Genty was there.
Yeah.
So I almost prefer not to draft off teams I'm rooting for, because if they lose and have bad games, it just makes it that much worse.
Yeah. And I feel you. And that's kind of why I avoided Jets until the very bitter end. Like, even Mason Taylor is my tight end too.
Yeah.
I would have taken their defense just because I do like Wilkes, and I know you do too. And like 6 or 8 defenses had already gone. I wouldn't have taken them top 5. I would have waited a bit, but being
Right.
a Jets draft wasn't going to happen. Let me ask you, how did your draft tonight go, starting with the first round?
I drafted 7th out of 12. I went with Malik Neighbors with my first pick.
It's a fair selection.
Which, according to the website, was a little high for what they wanted. I know. But, dude, just be healthy.
Do you remember your choices?
I could probably look it up.
I would imagine that was Lamb there.
No, I would have taken Lamb. He was already gone.
Was Jefferson?
I think Jefferson went right before me.
Okay.
So
that makes sense. I would, wide receiver 4 is good for Neighbors, I think.
I see what he did with no quarterback play last year. My only concern is he's got the red cross right now. And then my second pick coming back up was Brian Thomas Jr. So I'm kind of, a little risky with some second year guys, but both put a lot of numbers up.
I had Neighbors last year. I had Neighbors last year, and he was a target demon, man.
Yeah.
He was.
And he should be again this year.
I would like him to get more deep shots. Does it worry you at all that they lost Tommy DeVito today?
No. Well, hey, what does Russell Wilson do better than anything?
Deep shots.
Deep shots.
Yes, sir. Yes.
So
a single pass can make your day.
My first 2 picks are on the Giants and the Jaguars, but I might kick myself later. But those guys.
But before you go, I want to hear about your running backs. But before you do, what do you think of Johnny Boy? He says that he got Donovan Edwards, Michael Vick, and Megatron today. Do you think you like his chances?
I wish the Jets had signed those guys in free agency.
Well, they did, one of them at least at some point.
Yeah.
I do like this comment from him, though. Dante Thornton Jr. For the Raiders. I almost took him today because I thought to myself, if they trade Jacoby Myers, Thornton goes from a 15th round pick to like an 8th, and I'd like to see it.
He's getting talked up. He's getting talked up. So,
not just the draft stuff either, like the summer stuff as well. He's talked up.
Yeah. So that could work. I wonder. I gotta wonder what the guy I just brought in, what he's got left. The receiver they just signed that everyone thought was retiring.
Oh, Amari Cooper. Yeah, I forgot he went to the Raiders. You know what? With that said, maybe Nate will be all right. Maybe Nate will be fine taking Genty and Bowers. Maybe Cooper is just 20 years old again, and he stretches that field. No, hey.
I think Thornton stretched the field, right?
Yeah, Thornton definitely will. MHJ, Nate getting in the third round. Another guy I own in Dynasty. I do expect him to have a better year 2 than he had a year 1. So we'll see. The only thing that paused me on Nate is that his quarterback is Dak Prescott, and not my favorite. But enough about Nate's team. He did win it all last year in League 2. I won it all in League 1. So that's why I keep an eye on him. But I want to hear, you got BTJ, you got Malik Neighbors, good wide receiver tandem. What does your running back room look like?
Kyron Williams, Chuba Hubbard, DeAndre Swift, and Jalen Warren.
That's not bad. Who's your starting 2?
Well, I only have to start 1, but I can start 2. So this league, you only have to start 1 running back and 1 receiver, but then you have 2 flex positions that can be running back, wide receiver, or tight end. So, and I haven't right now, before I adjust my roster, Kyron Williams and Chuba Hubbard are in my starting lineup. That's just how I drafted them, and that could change.
Well, if you pair, I mean, your best 4, I would say them 2, and then BTJ and Malik Neighbors probably form your top 4 skill positions. Would you say?
Yeah, although I just have this feeling DeAndre Swift is going to have a year.
Well, he's good to have as a 5th option for sure.
So he could move into any of those spots. And then one other pick I got late was Jamison Williams.
Jamison Williams. Oh, that's a great backup to have.
And they are,
because he can win you a week if you just
yeah.
plug him in at the right time.
Yeah. I'm a little hesitant on the Lions just because there's been so much turnover. It's bound to have, I got to say, a negative effect. But, they're still going to put up stats. Modine in the house.
Yeah,
My
you
day is
say
complete.
Beetlejuice. Modine has to listen to the last 10 minutes because his ears got warm for sure.
Yeah.
He chimes in and he says, Johnny boy, that team of yours will do great if your league scores points for dogfighting.
Yeah.
Simon Thomas, no, not to be confused with Simon Thomas. This is Timon Thomas. 10 team, half PPR. Would you trade DJ Moore, Travis Hunter, Chubb for Kittle, Rice, and Corum? I have Amon-Ra, Terry, Keon Coleman, Demario Douglas, Downs, Chase Brown, Kyron, Pacheco. Holy shit, you got a lot of guys. Would you trade DJ Moore? I guess this is a redraft, not a dynasty. Let us know, Timon Shamus. DJ Moore, though, Travis Hunter, and Chubb for Kittle, Rashee Rice, and Blake Corum, Scott.
Well,
it might be a dynasty from the sounds of it. I don't know.
He's got St. Brown.
It's a redraft. It's a redraft league.
Okay, who's Terry? McLaurin?
Yes. So he has 3 good wide receivers plus.
You know what? I think I would do that just for Kittle. Just to get Kittle on there as my tight end.
Well, who's your tight end now, Simon? Who's your tight end now? Because you didn't list one. We got to know what your backup would
He's
be.
got Goddard.
Oh,
Goddard.
Goddard.
He's not bad, but Kittle could be the top receiver for the 49ers this year.
Well, and if it's a redraft league, I feel better about Travis Hunter long term than I do in year one.
Right, sure.
But also, like, if you're getting back not just Kittle, but Rashee Rice, and you have wide receivers good enough to where you don't have to start Rashee Rice anytime soon, that's not bad.
Yes, he's out 6 weeks. When
You have
what week?
Amon-Ra,
Yeah,
Scary Terry, and Keon Coleman.
and Downs could be solid too.
Yeah.
What week do the buys start?
Well, Rashee Rice will be eligible to play on October 19th.
Week 7? Is that week 7?
Probably.
Okay. Yeah, I took him as my last receiver in a league. I was hoping he'd only be out 4 games, but I figured, what the hell, at that point in the draft.
So you would do that trade?
I would, because I'd like to. He's got a pretty good team. I didn't notice the quarterbacks, but I'd like to plug Kittle in there for sure.
Yeah. And I like Corum getting him back as well. Chubb, I'm down on. Travis Hunter, I'm suspect. DJ Moore, I'm like, your lineup's fine without DJ Moore.
Yeah, he's got good receivers.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I would do it.
There you go. That's why you come to the Danger Zone. You get answers like that, well thought out. Good comment from you, Simon Thomas. I'm going to call you Simon Thomas, but hopefully that's okay. Question for, hello, Scott. This year's Fantasy League champion, baby. Modine.
That's right, Mo.
Question for the panel. What color will the Jets' rival jersey be? He thinks smoky gray.
I don't. What does he mean? Jets rival jersey.
So it's coming out like in the next few days. Our like alternate where it's a jersey we're gonna wear when we play our rivals, basically.
Oh, so like the other Eastern teams.
Yeah, so I think they teased it. I think it is going to be smoky gray or like dark gray or something. I also think that airplane up in the corner is going to be on the way up in the corner. Is going to be on the helmet. I don't know though. Yeah, I know, right? Hopefully it's like diagonal pointed. I don't know. We'll see. But that'll be coming out in the next few days. We'll see what that looks like.
Yeah,
dude.
Some of that Oregon Duck gray, dark gray, almost metallic with some green in there. That'd be sick.
And Murph has always been a big proponent of, if we're the Jets, why are we green? We should be gray. And or gray or black. And that's always hit home for me. Like, he's right. Most Jets are gray.
That's true.
It comes out tomorrow.
Okay. Yeah, it'll be interesting to see. So they're going to have white, green, black, and this gray jersey. Hey, well, the more different jerseys they have, the more shit they can sell.
Yeah. The more shit Johnny will be buying.
Is this like, how about this? This is not black. It's a really dark. It's almost gray or graphite.
Yeah.
And the front is a light gray. That'd be pretty cool. Something.
You want to see something else pretty cool? Compliments of Jets worldwide.
Nice. Oh, you won that, didn't you?
I did.
Dude, you always are winning shit. I don't know how you do it. Hey, Johnny, how about this gray right here, baby? Yeah, that's more like white.
I think your guy on your hat should have a goatee.
I'll have to make that request next time I go back to California.
Then it'll be like a picture inside of a picture inside of a picture. Yeah, you said I'm always what? I always what?
You always win on these contests.
no matter what. Got money on my mind.
You got crazy luck, dude.
I only on YouTube.
I've seen you win like 3 times. Didn't you win on Gunny's
Bro.
show? You won something?
And since the 2023 NFL draft, which is a little over 2 years, I've won a $300 TaylorMade putter. I've won Kevin Mawai signed football. I've won a Joe Klecko signed photograph. I've won a Will McDonald signed helmet from Snowball and Johnny. There's no, there's.
Did you win?
Okay, I won a Vinny Testaverde signed jersey. Insane.
Did you win a Garrett Wilson jersey?
Not. Oh, where
did you win that one?
I think I bought that on eBay and it didn't fit me.
Oh,
and I
okay.
gave it to you. Yeah.
Okay.
But I've won at least 5 or 6 things in 2 years, which is insane when you think about
I've seen a few of them.
the math on it. Like one I gave to Murph, I bought and gave to you. But like the putter alone, the Vinny Testaverde jersey, now the Will McDonald helmet is more than most win in 10 years. I'll take my luck and cash out now, please. Crazy. But yeah, I got to get my Vinny Testaverde. I used to have it on my wall when I lived at the other place. I got to get all that out of storage and get a proper studio built. Okay.
Well, you haven't been there long.
Yeah. And I got to go back to PA, and that's a hell of a trip.
Oh, you left shit back there?
Yeah. I got a storage unit full of most of my good shit. So I got to fly back, drop in, go to my unit, clear it out, haul it all across country. Who wants to do that?
Hey, Murph's there to help you load up.
What if I just send him money and have him ship it?
Well, he can show up and help you clear out the shed and load up the truck before you drive off.
Oh, Johnny says that he would ride that handlebar, baby. Is he talking about a mustache or what?
I think Johnny would ride a lot of things. He's pretty freaky.
Oh yeah, Johnny Boy. He says on my birthday, I won this from @Jets Worldwide on YouTube. I got to make sure I say that on a Friday night where Snowball and Johnny are both here. So they'll be getting multiple more plugs out of me. But
hey, you can always count on Modine. He's probably thinking it's all Jet stuff, but
yeah. Johnny Boy. I'm also sending a signed autographed picture of Kelsey and Taylor Swift getting proposed to you, Dano. My old lady would love that, by the way, Johnny Boy. FYI. I believe he's coming out this year and he's going to be named Travis Swift.
I drafted Travis Swift tonight.
I almost did as tight end too. Dude, he went 98th. Where did you get him?
I don't think I got him that low, but all the top tight, it was between him and Njoku. And I kind of kicked myself for not taking Njoku, but
no, don't.
Did you see what Njoku did with Flacco 2 years ago?
I do, but do you know who Harold Fannin Jr. is?
Yeah, of course I do.
I think that he, dude, Njoku also is prone to like just disappearing at times, and I don't know why. We all saw what Njoku did to us at Thursday Night Football or whatever a couple
The
years
slap
ago,
cut.
dude.
Yeah.
Yeah, but like, point is, like, he's not a guy I want to plug into my lineup and forget and just leave him there all year because he has great games, but then he just disappears. I would rather. Am I crazy for saying Kelsey is not going to have the same year he had last year this year?
Well, that's what I'm hoping for. But I also don't feel great. Like, I didn't get Kelsey from 5 years ago. But I do think the Chiefs' offense is going to be better this year, also. So
And you didn't pay 5 year ago prices either.
no, I mean he was a first round pick. I definitely got him down. It'll probably sixth round, maybe 12-team league, so somewhere around 70.
Modine chimes in. Guys, no one hit the Powerball. Next draw is 950 million. If we win, how much do the Jets cost?
Well, first of all, I say we all send our money to Dane and let him make the bet because he's so damn lucky. And then we split it up appropriately.
Oh, I also won fantasy and I won ESPN Eliminator as well. But all I do is win now. Yeah, send it to me. By the way, if you Venmo at DayngerZone on Venmo, $10, you walk away with a free koozie. $10 donation. Donate $10, you get a $9 koozie, baby, and I'll get $1.
And I challenge someone to take a koozie or have a photo of a koozie more than how many feet? It was over 14,000 feet. 14,100 and something feet.
You know what I want to see? So
Have
you
the
got
proof, though. Have the proof.
you have a photo you submitted, Scott,
Yep.
of the Danger Zone koozie at the highest elevation probably anybody is going to get it to. What I would like to see is not them challenge that because they're going to lose. I would like to see who can get the lowest elevation, who can get the most eastern part of the globe, maybe the most western, maybe the northern. Let's just get it all over, baby.
Well, you got an advantage for the Western, Dane. And I could tell you where the farthest western point in the United States is. You'd have to travel a little bit. It's down in California, but that's
If
a next time I go back, I might have to consider doing that.
you get more than one trophy in your case, I think you got the highest. He, like Scott said, 14,000 plus feet of elevation. It's a mountain that's higher than most mountains. I know Murph's mountain over there is like a third the
4,000
size.
something. Pikes Peak.
It's a little guy.
Yeah,
Don't tell
Pikes
him I
Peak.
said that.
Well, you could go to McKinley. I think you can get the summit of Mount McKinley is higher. That's in Washington, but I just don't know how easy it is to get there.
And can you get to the peak? I don't know.
I
Yeah.
don't know.
You had you see he had a sign verified elevation point with the koozie. You guys are gonna get this in a short or something coming up, but
Yeah,
if
it was. I've
yeah,
told you, Dane, for those that are still listening, it was funny because all these people are walking up, taking a photo with this. And then I walk up, I'm by myself, and people are saying, "You want us to take your photo?" I said, "No, no, no." And I put the koozie up there and walk back, and they're just looking like, "What is this nutball up to?" So a lot of people saw the DZ koozie, Dane.
hey, it's one of four. Again, number 5 could be yours. Um, Chris B, He's going to have to take one. Hey, there he is. Chris B says, I have my Danger Zone koozie by me. Yeah, there we go. Where's your, hey, viewer that's not Chris B, me, or Scott, wondering the same, where's yours? $10 Venmo at Danger Zone.
If you
Yeah.
beat 14, if you beat the summit elevation of Pikes Peak, I will buy it.
Listen to that. There you go. The wager's on who can get the highest koozie. I want to see who can get the easternmost, the westernmost as well, northernmost. I don't know what's the
Southern
southernmost, but like what's the opposite of elevation? How are you going to take it low?
submarine.
Man, we might not have the subscribers for that kind of pool, but
How
maybe
about
yeah,
in the most states at one time?
at one time or most states total
At
one
one time.
time.
I got four
Ah,
corners. I can go down the four corners and the koozie can be in 4 states at once.
that would be an epic pick. But you got to do like a selfie with it behind you. I want to see you, Scott, in the next one.
The problem is it focuses on, and then you can't,
Uh,
especially, you need a
good
koozie
point.
that's as big as his hat.
Yeah, sounds like we need DZ sleeping bags.
There you go.
No.
DZ car seats.
I may
Close.
never branch out from further merch. I think these fit our vibe perfectly, though, considering our Friday nights together.
Well,
Which, if you have watched this, if you are watching Friday night, Murph will be on with Dom C talking what the hell happened the last few days. Because I got some of it, I did not get all of it. I know a lot, but I'm not gonna spout it all because most of our viewers also know a lot. You can even chat, tell us what you think. Tyler Johnson cut, brought back. Was that just some gymnastics and he's going to actually be on the 53? We don't know. What do you think? Tell us. Spike the like, subscribe, all that jazz.
what what about Jammin Davis?
Jam and Day.
Did they bring him
Yeah,
back?
they didn't bring him back, but
Did he
I don't
sign?
know of any. Yeah, I don't know of anybody else who
Oh,
took him. Chris B is here now. Maybe he can tell us the whereabouts of Jam and Davis. Um, Also, did I don't think I got your quarterback in your fantasy draft.
oh, Burrow is my one. Yeah. And Dak is my 2.
All right, I need to hear quarterback down to tight end one more time. Your starting lineup and your flexes.
Okay.
What's your A team?
All right. Hold on. Let me get it up here. Well, Johnny, don't get excited.
That's what she said.
I'll just do it on the laptop. Okay. Right now, my starting lineup is Joe Burrow. That's safe. Kyron Williams, Malik Neighbors, Brian Thomas Jr., Chuba Hubbard, Travis Kelce. My defense is the Seahawks, and my kicker is Chris Boswell.
Boswell is a sneaky good kicker as well. Who is your flex? So you got Chuba and Kyron. You've got
My
Malik and
my other
BTJ.
okay, so I'll just give you my second half. Dak, DeAndre Swift, Jalen Warren, Jamison Williams, Michael Pittman, Hunter Henry, and the 49ers defense.
And chat, chime in what you think of this roster. Remember that he starts one running back, one wide receiver. I forgot that, and then you have two flexes.
One
you can
tight
have-
end, one running back, one receiver. Yeah, two flexes, a quarterback, defense, kicker.
Yeah, which that's just, dude. If what my take would be on that lineup is if Burrow throws for 5, like I think he will, and
That's what I'm.
Kelsey
Yeah,
and Kelsey has even the year he had last year.
yeah.
I think you're gonna be in the championship.
Well, that's the thing, man, about those head-to-head leagues with playoffs. One
You don't
bad
know.
week at the wrong time can just ruin a season.
Okay, let me take that back. If Burrow has that kind of year and Kelsey has even last year's year, I think you have one of the better teams in the league and you'll have a chance.
I think so too. Yeah. The interesting thing about this league, it's the weirdest league I've ever been in, and they really try to spread the money out all over the place. So, and another way people get paid, the high scorer at every position wins a percentage of the pot. I don't know if I have any of those guys. Malik Neighbors could maybe get there. Burrow, but maybe, but probably not. One of the running quarterbacks will get there. But who knows with a defense? Seattle could get lucky or something. But sorry, Mo, I don't know how to post that stuff where Dane could do it.
Yeah, that's fine. We kind of went through it. I do think your team's rock solid. I like Jameson as a not even a backup. He's like a deep backup because you have the flexes that are good too. 12-team league. I'd say it's a pretty solid freaking team, man.
I'm a 10-point favorite in week 1.
10-point favorite week 1. Okay.
Already have the matchup up there.
Not freaking bad. He already said you'll be champion, Scott.
You know what? Mo Dean is right a lot. So I feel good about that.
Modine's also a Scott Foster truther, as am I.
Yeah, I'm glad I have 2 of them.
Oh shit. Modine says he does not have Venmo. Why am I not monetized here? And I responded, but I want to just tell anyone listening on audio only or that doesn't have access to the live chat after the fact. We will be at some point. We're trying to get super chats opened up. We need like easy killer. We're 500 subscribers. I think we're damn close. Maybe 30 away, 35 away. Then you'll be able to super chat. Same thing with the offer to Venmo $10 for a koozie. If you super chat $10 for a koozie too, that's fine. YouTube will take 30%. Doesn't matter. You get a koozie anyway. But also, I do have PayPal. I do have Zelle, like you mentioned. I'm not going to plug that because I don't have it under DayngerZone. I have it under my first and last name right now. So we'll get that. I'm not trying to fight for your $10, but if you do want one, you can get one. Just got to get Venmo or whatever. No merchandise, no T-shirts. That'll all be for other channels, other more successful channels. We're just gonna have our Friday nights where we drink beer, and
What
you can have
about
koozie to drink beer with.
when are you going to start selling off some of that beard hair?
What could we turn it into, sir?
You need some 4%ers for that, I guess.
Hey, if you look at my analytics, the female audience somehow must be Murph is like 7 or 8%.
Oh, yeah, or the gals with the gray hair fetish, gray beard fetish.
Having Hazel as a mainstay helps as well.
Well, hey, how many people can say Stigger's mom has come on in their show?
Oh, yeah, true. Very true. And guess what? He made the team.
Yep.
I had do not disturb on my phone, and I have 16 messages. One of them, though, is from Johnny. Johnny sent me his team.
I'm scared to know what Johnny's fantasy team is.
Oh, shit. What's the easiest way for me to get it where I need it? You know what? Why don't buy me? Can you buy me a minute, rambling Scott?
Sure. See if
All
there's
right.
any questions in here. Doesn't look like it.
If you're still here now, you probably won't even mind if we say nothing for the next
So
minute.
I think Johnny is in the other Asmaniac league that's drafting next week. Johnny, you still in that league?
I think that they're going to have an after show on their channel too. I think it's Tuesday night.
It's like next Tuesday or Wednesday, I think. Yeah. No, I don't remember which one. One of those nights. What about the DayngerZone draft? Is that going to happen?
Probably not.
Nope.
At
No
this
pressure.
point.
No pressure. I'm in too many of
It's
these
go-
damn
it,
things as it is.
Time has gone too fast, and I've been working 50 hours a week. Like I want a Danger Zone fantasy league, but I think the best bet is to just make one next year. As sad as it is to say. I thought about just doing it, like starting it now and then having post week 1 before week 2, but
Yeah.
I don't even know if I don't even know if that's fast enough. And then some, like Yahoo today said, you got to draft by September 4th. And I'm like, well, that screws up that idea. All
Well,
right, hold
don't
on. I
use
think I
Yahoo.
have. Yeah,
Don't
and
use Yahoo.
that was the correct. I don't know if you can see this, Scott. I'm gonna do my best to make it
Oh, hell
legible. Johnny's the type of guy who doesn't crop.
no. Not unless you want to see
Uh,
me in glasses.
all right, let's see if we can make it any better. Oh no, I don't think we can. I can read it to you though.
Okay.
All right. He has Justin Fields,
Of course he does.
Chase and McConkey,
All right. All right.
Brees and
Of
Aaron
course.
Jones,
Oh, hey, Jay. Okay.
Bowers, Mike Evans at flex. Not a bad team. McPherson, kicker. Jets defense. And then for reserves, he has Jordan Addison, Nick Chubb, Tank Bigsby.
Yes.
He also has my guy, Elijah Arroyo, and Jaden Higgins on the bench.
Okay.
Thoughts on that squad, which damn, but Johnny, how many teams are in that league? Because it looks like a 10 teamer. Looks good.
Is Fields his only quarterback?
Good freaking question. Johnny, what say you? Stand up here, Johnny, and defend yourself. Now, just tell us in the chat what oh, Modine. Johnny will finish last.
Too many Jets. I already had to beat Odin to that one.
He took Fields and Brees Hall. 12 teamer.
Well, I'd want to have another quarterback on the roster, unless there's someone I don't know about. Just because, Fields, he might score some points running the ball, but he might
will.
get lit up too and get hurt.
Let me grab a beer.
I don't think he's ever had a complete season. I mean, he didn't get hurt last year, but he got pulled, of course. But Johnny, you might want to get a backup just in case. I considered Fields, that league I drafted for tonight. It's kind of out of balance on how much they reward running quarterbacks. Oh, you got Stroud. All right, cool. I think Stroud will be better this year than he was last year. Just don't play him against the Jets. I don't think they play this year, do they? Yeah, Lee Van, straight truth right there. Johnny has no pullout game.
Did I see him have Chase?
Yeah, that must have been his first pick.
You know, I almost had Chase and McConkey as well, Johnny. I ended up going with a McBride. How did you get Chase and Bowers? And uh, hey, that's a good draft. He obviously waited on quarterback.
Yeah.
He probably went Chase, then Bowers at 24 overall.
Then McConkey.
Yeah, and then Brees must have been the back, but like 30. Well, no, hell, he would have been at pick 49.
So I've been in 2 drafts so far, and Brees has gone before Garrett both times, which kind of surprises me.
Yeah, because I was in a Jets draft today, and Garrett went 40th, and Brees went like 48th.
Yep, Lee Van. I'm kind of taking the same approach. I've been too many Jets the last 2 years. Hasn't worked out so well. So Johnny, who was the first pick? See,
You know what?
you're like Dane.
Yeah, I was picked 2 and got Chase as well. People love their running backs. Which really,
Well,
them first 4 picks are almost interchangeable.
so someone from my first draft told me their number 1 receiver was going to be CeeDee Lamb. I said, over Chase? He said, yep. But he was like 5th, or I think he was 5th. I think he took Jahmyr Gibbs.
What was his logic behind picking Lamb over Chase or Jefferson or any of them?
I didn't ask him. I wouldn't have done it, but I would have taken Lamb over Jefferson, just because Jefferson's got a hammy, and he's got basically a rookie quarterback. So
Well,
I think the Cowboys are going to have to win shootouts too, and they don't have a running game.
aside from like comparing Lamb to other wide receivers, let me compare Lamb to 2024 Lamb. Is he better or worse now that he has Pickens?
Well, it should take some of the heat off of him for sure. Will he lose targets? Possibly.
So is that a wash for you? Like,
I think so. I think they're probably gonna throw the ball more. And who has thrown him the ball? I mean, he missed some games, and then also his quarterback missed a bunch of games last year, which could happen again. And it's going to be might be Joe Milton throwing him. Oh shit, that scares me all of a sudden.
at least it's not like Trey Lance or something.
Did he stick with the Chargers?
Is he in LA now?
Yeah, he's looked good.
Okay. I haven't followed him, to be honest. I knew he was in Dallas, but that was it.
No,
I wonder.
He's been playing really well in the preseason. So
I do want. Well, back to the Lamb debate. I wonder because it's like he's going to be getting far less target. I mean, he was getting so many dink and dunk, just immediate throws. Now he's not. But will the targets he gets? Will the targets that he gets now be more high quality, more deeper shots, more less attention, less CB1s, less bracket coverage? Because I'm not a Pickens believer, so I don't know.
Well, why won't he get some of those targets like he got last year? I mean,
True.
the Cowboys have more to worry about.
See, now we're talking smart guys, and you and your Modine love. Here's a guy that really is smart.
Well, he's obviously had some sort of facial injury that has hurt his eyesight. I just
Jets
got
my
chaos. I
man.
just got Neighbors at number 7 in my league or in a league.
Okay. Chaos chiming in says Atmo, I just drafted Neighbors' 6th pick over Lamb. You know what? I can't knock it because Neighbors is going to have a better no matter who it is, Neighbors is going to have a better quarterback than he had last year. And he's going to be more seasoned. And you know what? You know who I like too? I like Tyrone Tracy, man. I don't know. I like they have pieces over there. Are they? I think they are a draft or two away. But with that D line, those skill position players the Giants have, they have the makings of a decent team. They just gotta keep going.
What do they have
And
at tight end?
I can tell you, I have it
I mean,
right.
they could still use a receiver.
Theo Johnson.
Oh, yeah, they cut a Dulcich guy, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
I think so. Modine. Chaos. Congrats on winning your fantasy league championship. Speaking of chaos, Scott, I think me, you, and him are within like a 8-hour radius, so
I
we
am
can
not
just
within an 8-hour radius.
meet at Vegas and call it a weekend.
Well, Chaos and I practically were neighbors until last October.
Yeah.
I was only 45 minutes out of Sacramento.
How far are you from me?
Now?
Yeah.
Oh,
20
dude,
hours.
probably. Yeah. Driving.
Damn it.
Yeah.
Chaos Chaos took Neighbors over CD instant winner. Hey, we took what? Mekhi Becton over CD, and we've never stopped winning.
Hey, now he's winning. Now he's
Yeah.
collecting
Yeah.
rings.
Yeah. Was that the Becton year? It might
I
not
think
have been.
so. I think so.
Oh, dear Lord. It's late, guys. We're just chilling, talking fantasy, talking war stories, talking pelts on the wall. We've even had an Eskimo buddy or Eskimo, what's that called? Eskimo brother reference like 2 hours ago. Go ahead and spin back and listen to what the hell that was about. Um, Chaos in the house. Good to see you, brother. You had a hell of a reality check today. I always plug in because it's one of the few shows that are on around noon my time. Appreciate that. Yeah, Johnny Boy Becton has a Super Bowl ring. Yeah,
A
Becton
few
guys.
Jets got Super Bowl rings with the Eagles last year, didn't they?
Braden Man. Isn't there
And
another one? There's another one. I'd have to
he's
sit
now
and
with
think.
he's now with the 49ers.
It's too. I'm too cooked, or I could think of. Is it a offensive player?
No, he rushes the quarterback.
Oh God.
He at least he used to. when he was with the Jets.
Bryce Huff.
Yeah,
He's with the Niners now.
yep. Solid
Wow.
brought him over there. They traded for him. I don't remember what, but they traded for him.
I think I missed that nugget.
Oh yeah, Niners cut Surratt.
Okay. Wow. Wow. Ballsy of Sulla.
Now maybe they put him on the practice squad. I don't know, but maybe he's already in Atlanta. Also, who knows?
He might be. Yeah, we cut Zaire Barnes. That was like the next Surratt on our roster. What do you make of us cutting Tyler Johnson?
I was surprised by that. I
Are you
really
writing? Are you writing home though?
am. I what?
Is it something to write home about?
No, but he'll
But
probably end up on the 53.
I'm with you.
Okay,
I
how
just
do
had
you
to spin it. I had to spin it out of the way because we had the same take.
how do you feel about Gibson not getting cut?
I'm starting to question the leadership that I wasn't questioning last week.
That was surprising to me.
You know, did you hear Aaron Glenn's answer today in his presser on why he kept him?
No.
Oh, okay. Well, he said that it was based on all of the practices and that Xavier Gibson has put together the best punt returning film of anyone. He's caught like 150 straight punts without a muff, and exactly the way that Glenn wants the punt returner to field the punt returns. And he thinks that Gibson is electric, exactly what he wants out of a returner.
Okay.
So that to me tells me that like 2025 only is all they care about. They're not consider like, which can be a fault if your player is a saturated version of himself when the lights come on, like Gibson.
Right. Well, did he win the job? Maybe he won the job in camp, which is supposed to be how it is. I mean, we're all skeptical. I mean, I don't want to watch that guy field any punts.
Because last summer he wasn't bad. It's only games, so like that's a fine policy. You want to tell us that Pritchett muffed a punt and last Tuesday at 9 a.m. and that's why you're cutting him instead of like it's stupid, man. Like just watch the film. Gibson was a terrible returner last year. Terrible. There's tweets from every single content creator on Twitter. Joe Caporoso, like
Yeah.
NYJ Matt. You can look around New Year's, January 4th, whenever our final game was, people saying, all right, that was the last we have of Gibson returning punts on this team, right? Because it was that bad.
You would have thought. I mean,
But hey,
yeah, if you watch the film, how could you keep him? But I do respect that, it's kind of a clean slate. You come in here and win the job. Now, it wasn't that way for everybody. Obviously, they had to promise Fields the job, and, Brees is going to be the number one, at least to start the season. But, I respect that. I just am doubtful that it will work out.
fair. And I do respect the whole mantra of good night, Modine.
Later, Mo. Good to see you.
Of a clean slate. But I also think that like he didn't show out in the preseason action either. Like
Yeah.
maybe he caught 150 straight punts without a muff in practice, but like you didn't throw him out there enough on punt returns in preseason to show us he earned it. You're just, I don't know, man.
And
I-
is he catching them with gunners bearing
Yeah,
down on him, or is he just catching them practicing? That's a different story.
it is. It is. I didn't mind him making the roster, and even like I like maybe I'm crazy because I don't hear this take ever, but like I kind of like him as a gadget slot guy more than I ever did as a returner. It's just like that never materialized. He's quick, he's shifty. Get the ball in his hands, like give him drag routes. Get the ball in his hands fast. He can do something in space, like Brees. Different, but the same. Punt return, though, whatever, man. We'll see if that ever materializes. But like wide receiver 5, I don't hate him as wide receiver 5 or 6. I don't.
Well, he's lucky that that's a really weak position.
I hate him as punt returner 1.
That's his well, who knows what they have planned for him, but feels like that's his main job, right?
It does. It does. Even Glenn today sounds like that's how he made the team. Like,
Hmm.
made no mention of his wide receiver skills.
Yeah. I don't know. That's one of the surprising ones.
Yeah.
There's a handful that surprised me. You know, when the season ended, he was gone. Corley was gone,
Clemens.
but now Corley is gone. Well, no, I thought Corley should be gone. I wasn't sure he would be gone. Clemens, we thought would be gone. I think we thought Lazard would be gone. Who else?
And we thought Rogers and Adams would be here.
Oh,
I did.
I wasn't sure, but I when they got Spielman involved, I knew Rogers would be gone. Seemed like there's someone else though I thought would be gone. Clemens, Lazard, Gibson, Corley, and he is gone. Who am I missing? Oh, Ruckert.
Ruckert. Yeah.
I wanted Ruckert gone.
Ruckert's alive and well.
I would have kept Yeboah over him.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeboah. Hell yeah.
I would have minded Conklin sticking around, but money thing. But who knows with this with the
Did
new
you think
title.
did you think Tony Adams would be alive and well?
I think
Thriving?
he had a chance, sure. I don't mind him so much.
So you don't buy the whole Woody Johnson benched him?
I mean, could that have really happened?
I never bought it, but who knows?
If that was true, if I'm Muji and Glenn, I'm having a long talk before I accept this job.
Yeah.
I'm getting some promises,
Yeah.
which,
Or just telling them how it's gonna be.
well, sure, and Woody can agree to that, but what if the Jets are 1-6? It's great. Oh, okay, we're tied for first right now. Everything's super. But if the Jets are losing, what's going to keep Woody on the track?
That's why it does help that someone's in charge that we know Woody is like enamored with.
True, and hopefully Woody promised and is a man of his word to let them do their thing.
I have way more questions about Muji than I do Glenn. And honestly, it wouldn't shock me if Glenn wasn't here 6 years and Muji 1 or 2.
No, for sure. I mean, and it's hard. It's not hard to imagine another failure, right?
Right.
They've
Right.
proven nothing at their current positions.
I will say it's if we ran it back with the old staff, whether it be the week 1 staff or the week 18 staff, I like where we're at now more than I think we would be with either of those other 2 staffs at this point.
Yeah, well, they proved they couldn't get the job done, and man, it just
It's frustrating.
yeah.
I don't know that I don't know that they couldn't have. I just think under the circumstances they were given, they couldn't have. I don't know. I feel like there's a way I could brand it where they could have been successful. It's just it's hard to articulate.
Well,
Zach Wilson didn't help.
no, and I think they had a good defensive staff, but their offensive staff was shit. That's just
Yeah.
it was shit. And I think they just kind of thought Aaron Rodgers was going to come in and magically fix the offense because what did they really try to do? Shitty offensive line coach, a shitty tight end coach.
An O-line coach they kept with for
Oh,
years.
horrible, which we now know
Yeah.
that so many people are saying the scheme, the offensive line running and the running scheme was just
Garbage.
So,
Yeah. And
yeah.
they stuck with it. They stuck with the doofus. Before we wrap, there's very few still here. I want to get to Johnny Boy, who's been excellent in the chat tonight. Question for you, Scott. Thoughts about Aaron Rodgers? And I never heard this, so I'm taking Johnny's word for it. Aaron Rodgers personally calling the Packers to ask about Romeo Doubs. Is that a crazy thing about a player on Tomlin's team?
Well, first of all, is it even true?
I don't doubt Johnny heard this though. I just don't know if the source is right.
Right,
You know what I
right.
mean? Yeah.
I don't think Dobbs is all. Some teams that have talked about acquiring him. I don't think he's all they think he is. Now, would he be an upgrade in the Jets receiving room? Yeah. But I don't think he's this bona fide number 2 receiver by any means.
I think he's excellent as a 3 or 4 though.
Yeah.
Assuming his head is on right. That's the other thing with him.
True. And he's got some concussion issues.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, his head on right.
I think he wears one of those caps when he plays now.
Now he does seem like a guy who needs to know that he's cherished and wanted on a team, and maybe that's us. But is that Pittsburgh? I don't know, man. That could be a what's that called, a kettle or a powder keg. A powder keg that could be with DK. Like, because I see it now, like Aaron just targeting DK 24/7, and everybody else can go to hell.
I think the tight ends are going to play a big role over there.
That'd be a first for Rodgers.
I know people, and I've been hearing it forever. He loves throwing to the tight end. He doesn't throw the tight end that much, but he might not have the option there.
Yeah.
They're they got a better tight end room than the Jets, but I don't know if their receiver room is better than the Jets.
I don't think it is.
No.
I would take Garrett over DK right now, today. They're two different styles,
I
but
think
if
those two would be a good pair together.
they would, they would. Well, he was with JSN. Is that? I mean, I would take Garrett over JSN though. So yeah, yeah. Um, JSN didn't really blossom as a two behind him. I mean, he did, but not what you thought he would. I think
Well,
Garrett
he was a 3 for a while, and then finally they just recognized he's better than
Lockett.
Lockett.
Yeah, Lockett was. Yeah, yeah, yeah. That I will say is building up to be a very exciting week one.
Yeah, I think it's going to be a kind of a grinded out 3 yards in a cloud of dust, low scoring. But there's
Can
two
we?
kickers that can make field goals. From what I'm hearing, the Steelers' running game is not looking good, which you know you figure, and that might change with Phillips now. But if the Steelers are going to move the ball, you'd think it's going to be on the ground. I don't think they have enough weapons to throw the ball a whole lot.
No,
Not against
I
the Jets, anyway.
I think if they're wise or they're smart, they ought to try real early. And I think Rogers will know that. Like, we got to see if we can put 14 on the board real quick and just end this now. I don't think if they grind it out, it'll suit them as much as it'll suit us.
But that's the Tomlin style. Low scoring games that the Steelers win.
That's what we want to be, though. Like,
Yeah. Yeah.
and I would be far less confident in our chances had we not have one guy on this team. Do you know who that guy is?
Agent Zero.
Damn straight. He is the sole reason why I think we can possibly beat Pittsburgh at their own game.
Well,
Possibly beat Buffalo without dude, if he goes down or if we're not using him the way we ought to or if he's just facing even with stack boxes, he can get 3 yards in a cloud of dust, but it without him, man, it changes things. And Fields helps. Don't get me wrong, but
sure.
MVP on offense this year, he's got a chance.
And Pittsburgh's interior defensive line, they're missing their number one draft choice. And then what Cam Hayward has kind of been, no one's really sure what is even going on with him. He's been practicing again, I guess, but he might pull my back hurts or whatever. So I think they're catching the Steelers at the right time for sure.
Correct. I do too. I feel that as well. If it's November, it's a different conversation. Thoughts on Barney Miller? He says Jets are going to win 10-6. About what you were saying. I mean, cloud
I
of
said
dust.
3-3 tie. 10-6 going either way wouldn't surprise me.
Simpson will be healthy week one. Barney, is Braylon Allen hurt? No, he's not hurt. Lazard, he's expected to be there week one. We pretty much. Is there anyone not available week one that you know of, Scott?
Is Davis going to be ready to play?
He had a minor ankle injury in the Packer game, so you're saying give him a month from that point to be ready. He'll be ready.
Yeah, I think the Jets are pretty healthy, aren't they?
Irv Charles, maybe. I don't know his
Oh,
story,
yeah.
but that's not a needle mover either.
So if Lazard is healthy, who's receiver number 2?
If Lazard is healthy, who is receiver 2? For me.
Well, not for you, for the Jets. I mean, what are the
Okay.
Jets
All right.
in the Jets' mind?
And you're talking of the wide receivers, right?
Yes,
Okay.
not pass catcher number 2, receiver
Okay.
number 2.
If Lazard is healthy, it doesn't matter to me. I do think that them knowing Reynolds like they know him, he will be wide receiver 2 all year.
I don't think either answer is great.
Unless they still add to the team or they trade. I think I will he lead will he be second on the team in snaps? I don't know. But on the first series where we have more than one wide receiver, the first 3 wide receiver set, I think it's going to be Garrett and Reynolds, maybe Lazard in the slot. You could even say Lazard and Reynolds, Garrett in the slot. You can do stuff with that.
Yeah.
Tyler Johnson today, Arian Smith, Johnny Boy just mentioned. Hey, come Halloween, I think he'll start really popping. He might have a chance.
Yeah, they have to let him grow into it, though. Don't
Yes.
force them to be
And
too
how many 3 wide receivers? We're never going to run 4 wide. How often are we going to run 3 wide? I don't know. But I just, dude, it sucks because I want to see Garrett in the slot a lot, and we're never, ever, ever, ever going to see that at this rate. Maybe Reynolds and Lazard on the outsides, but is that the same?
No.
Yeah.
Yeah, well,
No.
I don't think we really saw the Jets offense in the preseason.
Yeah, I'm not basing this off of the preseason though. Many people are.
Of course.
I'm just looking at the roster and their skill sets and what I would do. And Lazard can play slot. He can play X. Garrett can play X. He can play slot. So they can change it up. I think Stone Smart can play tight end, but he can also play slot. Brees can play running back. He can play slot.
I heard Johnny plays in the slot pretty well.
I heard he widens the pocket. RPOs thoughts, because I don't think we're going to be an RPO team. I think we're going to be a read option team.
Yeah, we're going to see a lot more design runs for Fields as well. I mean, we didn't see any in the preseason. I think that's going to be a big change. But at some point, you still have to have an efficient passing game.
I get Johnny says, yeah, easy killer. Are you watching that show about the Jets on Amazon Prime about all their knocked up girlfriends?
No, I think you know how I feel about that.
Chuck Clark's on it though, baby.
Hey, I think the Steelers brought him back after they cut him.
Good. I do like myself some Chuck Clark. I don't know that I would want to watch him on a series. Maybe he's a good watch. I don't know. But I do like what Johnny Boy says here. He can't wait to see Fields, Hall, and Allen all in the backfield.
Come on,
I don't
Johnny.
think in the background.
Well, Dane is hoping to see Hall in the background.
Oh shit. Barney says watch it. It's really eye-opening. See, I thought it was more all about wags, wives and girlfriends. Maybe there's some nuggets though. I don't know.
How many of those players are still with the Jets?
Conklin's on there.
Is he?
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Clark,
Yeah.
Conklin. Who else?
Mm, Quinnen.
Okay.
Who else? Barney, help us out. Quinnen, Clark, Conklin, all the Q's and C's. There's two more, I think, that are on the team, maybe.
You know, I don't care. I mean, other than hoping they all have happy personal lives, I don't care about that stuff at all. Like,
No, Lazard's on there? There's no way. Does he have a girlfriend or a wife? I think it was all like knocked up
oh,
ones.
hmm. Well, that
Oh,
sucks for well, Clark's back now, but yeah, getting
Lazard's girlfriend is Mrs. Peru.
oh, she's probably hot.
Yeah, she probably is. Yeah. All right. I think we'll leave it there, Scott, unless you have anything else you'd like to add, whether it be fantasy or jet related.
No, I got at least two more drafts. Uh, Dane, we could, if you wanted to, I could help you with this one. Um, but we could organize for the DZ a one and done league where there is no draft.
Hmm.
So it's just up to everyone to go in every week and make their own team. You won't have to worry about getting the whole draft. I just
Is
set
that
up
the
leagues.
is that the one where you can only use each player once?
Yep, all season. So
Yeah.
I already set one of those leagues up, so it'd be real easy. Um, but you wouldn't have to organize a draft and have everybody here at a certain time. It's just you go in and make your lineup whenever you want.
That's an option, sir. I work like 12 hours tomorrow, but remind me at some point during those 12 hours and I'll circle back at
Well,
night.
we got almost for the before the first game. We pretty much have a week now, which is pretty
True.
crazy. But
That is crazy.
we got a week and a half. And the thing about that league, you don't have to start it even before week one. We can start at week 3 if we wanted to.
Okay. I like it. Um,
So
yeah, remind me though. Don't let me forget. Again though, Friday night will be Murph, Dom C, and probably a call in line. Maybe we'll see Scott. Maybe we'll see. We gotta make sure Murph doesn't just stay for an hour and leave. So whatever you guys can do to extend that, blow him up in the chat. Friday night, 9 p.m. Eastern. Dom C though, great get, great opportunity for Murph to show his hosting prowess. Come out, support him, hit the like, spike the like, obviously, subscribe. Um, we're almost to 500, man. Almost. We're not gonna get there by week 1. I'm gonna stick to that. We're not gonna get there, but we got 5 tonight, spouting a whole bunch of
yes.
nonsense. What?
You got 5 more tonight?
Yeah,
Nice.
somehow.
Talking about fantasy football.
Yeah, talking about with me lagging the whole first 20 minutes and
So
cramping the style.
what I'll do is I'll just kind of observe, and if I see like Murph starting to be ready to turn it off, I'll call in, and because he says it always keeps him up later than he should be. So I'll say Dane told me.
I'll send you the link before he even knows you have it, and then you
But
can
don't even tell
whenever.
him.
Yeah. You know what? Just because it is 1:30 on the East Coast and there's still a few people in here, let's hit this chat real quick. Barney. Barney is playing the role of Scott on Friday. What do we think about AG's prickliness in the press room? This is the final question. Barney likes it, but Scott, I don't know. I don't know if you saw
I don't like
the
it. Yeah.
I don't know if you saw the presser, but Samini got his head pretty good torn off again today because he immediately asked about the center competition. And he said, "Who's going to be the center week 1?" And Aaron Glenn said, "A center will be the center week 1." Basically, I'm paraphrasing, but that was the gist. Samini's the one that took the brunt. I don't mind that, but
No,
let me hear your take on the general notion.
I'm not a fan of it. I think there's a way to act and behave up there. Um, if I don't like that stuff. I like a lot of what he's doing, but I don't like that stuff.
Do you think, like, because my notion, my thoughts on it are that it's gonna bite him in the ass.
Oh,
If
for sure it is.
like
Unless
he
they,
said,
unless they were winning out of the gates.
yeah. Although, like, I think most of the time, and welcome Chandler Constantino. Appreciate you joining us. It does look like you might be one of our new subscribers, so I appreciate you joining us. We're just rambling here late at night. Um, I will check and see if you have a fantasy related question here in a moment. I do think he is putting the onus on himself to succeed. Like, bro, like the beat's not gonna cut you any slack if you start failing. But then again, would they have anyway? And also, like, do the fans care? Like, the fans kind of like you one upping the beat, but how will the beat's stories spin if you don't have them in your corner? That's the rub for me. Like, does that make sense?
Yeah,
If you don't have them in your corner, which I'm not saying he doesn't, but like he obviously could give two shits about some of them. Um,
obviously.
yeah,
Salini, number one.
it's the. Then again, you could say it's the opposite of Sulla. So
You're right.
where did that get Sulla, who's out golfing with Joe Benigno and Joe B, or however you say his name, whatever. Um, that didn't get him far either. So
Well, probably somewhere in between those would be better, in my opinion. I think there's a way, and we all laugh at Mike Ditka being an asshole and whatever. It's funny, but I don't know. I just think there's a way the head coach should carry himself in those things, and I think AG lets things get under his skin at times and when he shouldn't. Personal opinion of mine.
times have changed. Ditka, Parcells era doesn't always fly. But also like, yeah, just New York media, man. We'll see how it develops, but if you start losing, that's all that's going to matter.
And it's that way everywhere. I mean, I've seen like if you act like that and don't win, it does not age well, and we've seen it from other coaches, and they don't last long because it's just gonna get worse, and he's gonna feel more pressure if they are losing. And this year, most of us are expecting to be a tough season, and he's got to survive it. Because he's going to get if it is a tough season, he's going to get some questions that are going to piss him off, and
And that's
it's already happening. So
correct. Do you have 1 second to answer a fantasy question?
sure,
Would you trade Connor or Kamara? Wait, what? Oh, would you trade Connor or Kamara with Scary Terry, Worthy, and Jolie, and Njoku for Chase? Would you trade 6 guys for Jamar Chase? Would you trade John Connor or Alvin Kamara. So one of his running backs with Scary Terry, Worthy. I don't know Jolie.
Who's Jolie?
Yeah. But let's just say Scary Terry, Worthy, and Njoku plus either Connor or Kamara for Chase. Would you just trade all them guys for Chase in a PPR?
What is he? The Cowboys trading Herschel Walker? It depends on the rest of your team. I mean, obviously the number one player he's mentioning there is Chase.
Yeah. Triple
So,
crown.
yeah. What else is on the team? For sure. I'm thinking McLaurin takes a step back.
Ooh, really? With
Yep.
only Debo?
Well, what did they have last year? I don't know. His touchdown rate went way up, and I don't think they're going to have the horse shit luck they had last year. And some of that was him. Okay, Connor, Kamara, CMC, Mixon. Okay, see, I definitely wouldn't mind giving up one of those running backs. I get one of those. Yeah, if you got a good tight end.
Here's one. Connor.
Those are his running backs.
Okay. He's got McCroskey Merritt though. That might age well. He's posting his whole team.
Based on what he's showing me right now, I think I would do it.
Okay, Chandler. I hope that answers your question, buddy. You're getting fantasy advice at 1:30 a.m. on the East Coast. If you enjoyed that, please stay subscribed to the Danger Zone for more long beard talk on long nights.
I was brown beard when this stream started.
And I was a baby. Shit. All right. We'll officially leave it there. Chandler, though, stick around. We do have long streams. Just tonight, we're cooked. We're almost rolling into hour 5. We're gonna leave it here in hour 4, though. We are delusional, Hazel. If you just learned that, I don't know what to tell you. You might be cooked.
Hazel always brings us right back to reality. You can count on that.
Johnny boy, you got 5 seconds of answers headed your way. Question: should I tell my wife to fulfill my fantasy?
I don't think Johnny tells his wife anything.
I think he is submissive as hell, don't you?
Whatever you want, baby. Whatever you want. Nothing wrong with that.
Not at all.
If Johnny wants to live, he should just ask nicely.
He should ask nicely.
There you go. See? Right back to reality here.
And hey, Hazel, in person.
Hi, Hayes.
Hey, Johnny boy says. All right, guys. Scott, good night. Thanks for joining, man.
All
For
right.
real. It was a rocky stream in the beginning for me. So you brought me, you grounded me, and I appreciate it. Good conversation.
I heard a cry for help.
Yeah, you did. Hey, you are like Batman or Robin Hood or something.
You shine that light up in the sky.
Hey, if you're still joining us, appreciate you. Tune in Friday, 9 p.m. Eastern. Have a good night, everyone, including you, Scott.
You too, Dane.
Peace.
Good night, Hayes.
Good night. Go
Good
Mets.
night, everybody.
for the ride. You're in the danger zone.
Totally back row.